I tweached.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome, Game Dave, to the stream.
Hey! That's my
Good evening, everyone.
that's my best Game Dave impression. Hey!
Is that your best?
Well.
I'm disappointed if that's your best. Let me fix the graphics. In the meantime, everyone, let us know how the audio is, because you changed things when Dustin was there. I changed things when Dave was on the stream.
I didn't really change anything on this microphone. It should be okay. But you're saying it was coming in a little hot.
It sounds hot. So. It sounds hot in my headphones, and I've only got you at 100% in Discord.
Okay, so. I mean, I can adjust that if I need to.
Mr. Do thinks it sounds good. But I'm going...
Mr. Doots? I'm peeking a bit. I can change that. I can change it. I bring it down. I'm bringing it down just a teeny little bit. Let me know if am I still peeking? Am I peeking? Maybe a little bit? I know. I know. I almost thought you started typing Clyde for a second there.
My fingers were a little misaligned.
All right, so level should be good. If I'm still peaking, let me know, and I can change it. I can change it.
Yeah, is it balanced, relatively balanced with me as well? It sounds a lot better in my headphones too. So
everyone's probably over there and they're like, okay, it sounds good, and they're just like,
I just can't believe it. You're amazing.
All right. I'm always peeking.
Yep. Yeah, I know my color isn't great, but since
we got the blue.
Yeah, well, since Bayonetta is like a little darker color scheme game, I didn't want to play it with my big lights on. So most of what you're seeing on me is reflected from the TV. So it's just going to kind of be whatever. But you know, one of my little dirty gaming secrets that always surprises people is I've only ever played Bayonetta 1 on a PS3. And like people are always just shocked.
Yeah. Well, honestly,
even good guys blow it.
It's been several weeks without the soundboard, so we got to bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, are you wearing? Oh, yeah. I guess you're kind of wearing an NES shirt. You're wearing a gaming historian shirt, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. It's real comfortable.
Yeah, Cindy's
real comfortable. This is like one of the shirts that I wear consistently, like every week, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's one of my lounge around the house shirts.
But yeah, what can I say? At the time I played Bayonetta, I didn't have a 360, so
But you've only played the PS3 version.
I've only played the PS3 version. I've only played through it one time. Now, I don't know if I'm going to continue playing through this playthrough necessarily, but I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do.
Oh, for sure.
Just see how far I could get it, because I've only played it one time. And for people who weren't aware, this was, kind of not widely promoted or anything, but the reason I'm playing it is because the physical for Bayonetta 1 on Switch just came out, even though originally it came packaged as a download code with physical Bayonetta 2 on Switch. And I was actually kind of just almost like, man, I don't even really want to get Bayonetta 2 on Switch, because it's like I feel like I'm paying full price for something that included Bayonetta 1 on Wii U, right? And I was like, I don't want to be paying for a download code. I just don't want to. Well, and then you found it at a pawn shop without the download code for like a really good price and in good condition. So that was like the perfect way for me to get the Switch version of Bayonetta 2. And then, years later, it came full circle and I got my proper physical of Bayonetta 1 on Switch. So, yeah.
So it worked out. I mean, I ended up buying it just because, the Switch version has exclusive content.
Oh, over the Wii U version?
No. I mean, it has all the Wii U version content. It's not available. I mean, the game has been released on other systems, because it was published by Sega.
Right. Well, I mean, isn't
originally, but that version has like the Samus suit and like a couple of other ones that are only in that version. That's why it's cool to have like a. There shouldn't have been a patch, obviously, either, because I don't even think that.
I am assuming. Well, it says version 1.1, but I did not. I mean, I'm checking for updates right now. I didn't have my TV.
I'm pretty sure, because I don't even think that the downloadable version had a patch ever.
I mean, I didn't.
It might be 1.1 first, the physical version.
Yeah, it just says 1.1. I didn't have my TV on when I put the card in, so I don't know for sure if it didn't update, but it shouldn't have updated. I mean, there's almost no way it would have.
Yeah. I mean, Lord X Mugen is saying, I was just let down with Bayonetta. I thought Bayonetta was supposed to be a female Devil May Cry game, and I felt like nothing like Devil May Cry. I mean, I feel like it's very Devil May Cry, but I am a sucker for games that, like they have that platinum style where you dodge and everything slows down. Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think I like Bayonetta overall more than Devil May Cry, but the thing is, like, I would not have had the same, like, disappointment you had, because I've never been, like, a massive fan of Devil May Cry. Like, and really the whole, like, what I think people term today is the character action genre, right? Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, God of War, that kind of thing. Like, that's a genre that I play a fair number of games of, but it's not, like, gameplay wise, I don't love it. I don't like it's an acceptable sort of basis for a game that I can enjoy if the other trappings surrounding the game are enjoyable. And what's fun about Bayonetta is just like so much stuff happens in those games that is just like way just like dialed up to 11 in like the scale and like stupidity of everything that happens.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, and so that to me is those aspects of the game is what makes it fun for me. The gameplay is just like okay, but I also think that the gameplay in Devil May Cry and God of War and whatever is just okay. So.
I see there's $2 Canadian from Matthew Roy.
And there were some Chris Fresh. You might need to open the other tab.
Oh, okay. I will go and check that out as well. But Matthew Roy just says, Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. That booted super fast.
Getting ahead of himself, Matthew Roy. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And, happy October 9th. There's also 2 donations from Chris Fratz via Streamlabs. Thank you. 2 donations for $1 each. The first one says, no relation to Bayonetta, but I was wondering what was the first wow moment you had with HDR. I got a phone with an HDR screen and finally decided to sit down and watch a movie in HDR and chose Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. My wow moment was anytime there was fire on the screen and being able to make out light bulbs behind the lampshades instead of being able to see balls of light. To be honest, I've never had a wow moment with HDR.
You kind of didn't like it at first, actually.
Yeah, like it is not like it just doesn't really like jump out at me as like being like, oh my gosh, this is like a game changer. Like it just didn't it's never felt that way to me.
I mean,
I don't know why. Like it hasn't. Like it's cool when it gets real bright and stuff. But
I feel like for me, since it was relatively early in games implementing HDR, there weren't a lot of super amazing examples at the time. So my first experience may have been diluted, and then kind of the incremental improvement over the years has maybe never had like a true wow moment for HDR with me. But I mean, I really like it. And I mean, it was probably, you know, like some of those early games I had available for testing with HDR, like Rise of the Tomb Raider or something, where I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like everything, you know, is as bright as it was before, or in theory it could be calibrated where everything is as bright as it was before, but then objects that are actually, you know, bright or something that illuminates like is brighter than a normal TV could do. So
a lot of people are saying, you know, Thanksgiving in Canada is in October. It's Canadian Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, like I had no idea. I apologize.
I thought
happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
I thought it was in early November.
Oh, I
don't know.
No, I guess it's today. Or it's soon.
Huh? So there's touchscreen controls. I guess there must have been touchscreen controls in the
Wii U
version.
Probably.
Doing
Yeah.
what?
Maybe for QTE type stuff.
Maybe.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Canadian Thanksgiving is tomorrow. But it's tomorrow Columbus Day. And also Indigenous People Day.
Oh, interesting. There's no like hard difficulty to start with.
You should plan easy automatic. You know, I got 1,000 out of 1,000 on the 360 version.
Yeah.
That includes the maximum climax mode, which has no witch time.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun.
Well, I mean, you can still dodge. But there's an item you can get that, like, when you dodge, it doesn't slow down, but it leaves a floating bomb there. Like, it hurts enemies.
So am I right? Or, I mean, you would kind of expect this to be the definitive version of the game, but I think that isn't either the 360 version on backwards compatibility or the
10th anniversary version.
Or the 10th anniversary version on like Xbox Series X.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
actually,
this is
I imagine this is very close, though.
Content-wise. But, you know, it runs like as good as the 360 version did.
Yeah.
But it has.
Yeah, I don't think it's perfect, but it's probably quite close.
Yeah. The Xbox One Series X version of Bayonetta is the best way to play.
The once harmonious clans fell into disagreement.
But I kind of like having them on Nintendo systems since it's become a Nintendo thing.
I'm definitely excited about the third one. I think the thing I'm most excited about in the third one is to find out what moon-themed song is going to be the theme for it.
Oh.
Because this one was Frank Sinatra's "Fly Me to the Moon," and the other, like, second one is "Moon River." I don't know who sings that, which I think is a better song than "Fly Me to the Moon." But I'm really excited and interested to see what they choose for the third. That's probably why the game has taken so long.
They couldn't decide.
Yeah.
I mean, the sad reality is that, apparently Platinum has had money troubles.
Yeah.
So
I've heard that Nier Automata on the Switch is like a really good version.
yeah, I watched the DF.
Oh, really? I didn't watch the video on it. I just
Yeah.
heard basically like feedback on it, and it's so it is. Does it look pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like some pretty serious graphical cutbacks, and it's 30 frames per second, of course.
Okay,
But
that's
it
kinda neat.
it did seem, on the whole, to make smart concessions. It sounded like the first few hours of the game are like pretty much locked 30, but then when it gets more into like some more open worldy type stuff, and bigger battles, it's not as good. But sounds like it's better than you would expect, considering the last gen versions. PS4 and Xbox One had problems too. So the fact that the Switch version doesn't seem to necessarily have more problems. More severe problems, given the hardware, it's not bad.
There was also $10 from Tony Escobar. Sorry about that via Streamlabs 6 minutes ago. Sorry about that. Saying a few weeks ago, you recommended Lunar the Silver Star for Sega CD. I took your advice and I love it. It's funny, emotional, and so much fun. It's also my first Sega game. I've always been a Nintendo man. Thank you so much. It's quickly becoming one of my faves. That's awesome. I mean, I'm glad that you like it, because it is absolutely a seminal game for me. Like I said it so many times, but that is the first time that I remember reading like characters were like so talked so naturally in it that I felt like they felt like real people. So I mean, I could talk for a very long time about Lunar, but I don't want to, because I don't want to spoil it for you, because you've not played either one of them.
Exactly. Yeah. And we
Oh, you can use
I didn't understand that menu at first. It was just so we've got Peach, we've got Daisy, we've got
and they have like
Link.
different
we've got
moves.
Samus.
In Samus, yeah. There's like different weapons too.
Interesting.
But I mean, hopefully, we've been saying.
Should I pick one of these, or should I go vanilla?
I think you should do Link. You can change. Use a different one each level.
Enjoy a new kind of gameplay with the included Master Sword and Hylian Shield. Press L in the direction of an enemy's attack to block it with perfect timing. Okay, let's try it. Why not? Why not? We're just here to have fun.
Oh, is there a problem with the stream? I'm just seeing it's like spinning for me.
I've got green over here.
Okay, maybe it's just me. Oh, okay, there we go. I just need to hit the live. So there was $5 from Andy64. Thank you. Saying I saw on Backloggery that both of you beat Contra 3: The Alien Wars. Do you remember at which level? I beat the game on normal, not even close on hard. I feel like you've beaten it on hard.
I have, but I was terrified of going back to that. I beat on normal initially, and it was several years before I went back and did hard. I mean, normal is quite hard as it is. I mean, for as much as, I talk about this all the time, how, NES Contra is actually not that hard, even though it's like always appears in those like hardest games of all time lists, because it was so popular, everyone had it, or at least knew someone who had it. And it was really hard when they were kids, and the code was so accessible.
It wasn't that hard. I just think that people thought it was hard because they only played it with 30 lives.
The code was so accessible, and it just made people not try. Mm-hmm. And the reality is, I mean, I think most of the Contra games are harder than NES Contra, and certainly Contra 3 I think is a lot harder. The hard mode in that is no joke.
Yeah, I've never done.
I still want to get the Super Famicom version someday, which I think is called Contra Spirits, because that one I believe has infinite continues. So it would be a lot more palatable to play it just for fun and get the true ending.
Right.
Because like the thought of trying to go for that true ending, just like, it's like, man, that's going to take like days of work to like get myself good enough to do that again.
There was also $5 Canadian from a Cycle.
Thank you.
One of those two. Thank you. Saying any Bayonetta is good Bayonetta except for PS3 Bayonetta. We don't talk about PS3.
Well, hey, like I said, that was
I've never played that version.
That was my only context for it. And I enjoyed the game. I knew I was playing an inferior version, but I didn't really have a better option at the time. So I was just like, well, whatever. I'll just have to. I can totally enjoy a game with frame rate problems. Do I prefer a game to be smooth? Absolutely. But I can deal with it if I enjoy it good enough. Also, I totally forgot about him peeing on having Kamiya having to pee on his own grave.
Yeah. Even old Eggman the Destroyer gets scrambled. So that's a Sonic reference, right?
It's gotta be.
There was also $9.99 from Sean Quinn.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you. Saying thoughts on the Super Mario movie trailer. I think it looks pretty good, and I'm not picky. I'm not gonna sit there and be like, what are they doing with his voice? Like, oh my god, I can't believe it.
I really like Bowser's voice, and I really like Toad's voice. Mario, I'm keeping an open mind about Mario's voice. The reality is we have not heard him nearly enough.
Right.
The only words that we saw coming out of his mouth were spoken so softly, and then people have shared like the French version, which sounds amazing. I can't understand it, but it sounds amazing. But
I like that he has kind of like a slight Italian accent.
Well, he sounds like he's trying to do something. It'll be hard to say if it's enough. I wish they just tried to make him sound exactly like Lou Albano.
Well, that'd be interesting too.
I wish they'd just done that. Like that, because that's like the only like scripted voiced Mario outside of Bob Hoskins, Right. I definitely think it would have been a hard sell to do Charles Martinet for a whole movie. Because that voice is not really designed, I don't think.
I've seen people saying like it should have been him. It should have been like, listen, there is if he was doing that voice, if he was doing the game voice for entire movie, like I would not watch it. Like there's like just no way that I would actually like be able to handle it. Like I said this to you the other day, and it's probably going to be blasphemous, but it's like. That voice is like barely acceptable in game for me. Like I hate I think it's so annoying. I can't imagine like basically like speaking like that all the time. I wouldn't be able to handle it.
I would have not necessarily minded him being, as much a silent protagonist as he is in games today,
Yeah.
If it was just, Martinet doing like the wahoos and whatever, but not really having a scripted part of the story. I know that might be considered a little difficult to do in a movie compared to a game, but I would be fine with it. But yeah, I mean, we just haven't heard enough of it. I don't think it's going to ruin the movie or anything. But yeah, I think it looks good. It generally seems to be striking a tone that could work, and it looks good for the most part, I think. I mean, we're just going to have to get used to it. But, funny enough, I'm not really going to get into details of what it is, but I've kind of decided to do a quick little episode that I got the idea because of that trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say what it is yet. I mean, who knows? It's possible I could get it done this week. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I mean,
because it's not going to be long.
Right, and I think that's okay, and then that, I have the Sega Ages video coming, ideally, I want to do it on Friday. Mm-hmm. I'm really trying to commit myself to having an episode every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But I lost a week because I was traveling for work and, everything that happened, in Florida, and then, with Dustin being here and, working a bunch, I kind of, lost, a little bit over a week. Mm-hmm. A weekend, I lost, 10 days. So, I mean, one of those 2 videos will be out this week. And then the other one will come, pretty quickly after that, probably. Mm-hmm. But that should be fun. I'm looking forward to see what you do. It's more of a personal thing, which is kind of fun.
Wait, say what?
It's more. It's your video is more of a personal. You said, it's more of a.
It's going to be very. It's going to be very different.
Yeah. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's an unusual idea for us. It's an unusual style of video for us. But
there's Link. He's got the shield. I love that it shows up in cutscenes. It's a great game. It's a great game. It's just fun. It's so cheesecake.
Yeah, it's just
so
stupid, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the Mario movie. I'm excited to see more. But I mean, I just wouldn't be able to handle Charles Martinet doing, anything.
I mean, the thing with Charles Martinet is
saw the original Mario movie in the theater and never thought it was that bad.
Yeah, and I liked that movie too. I didn't see it in theater, but I got it on VHS, that Christmas.
We're not gonna you're not gonna see me making any thumbnails of me watching it being with the face cut out of my face going. I can't believe it. I can't believe they had the balls to do this.
But yeah, I had I mean I think it'll hopefully be good. I mean, I think it's probably actually going to be the first movie that I'm going to bother to go to the theater for since 2019.
Oh wow!
Because I feel like I need to have my own thoughts on this movie together, before I see anyone else talking about it.
Probably better than the Yakuza movie.
Oh yeah, you said you couldn't even finish that, right?
I didn't finish it, and I didn't go back to it. I did finish Yakuza 2 though today.
Oh yeah.
Want me to, and I am almost tempted to start 3.
Wow.
But I feel like I'm gonna back it off for the rest of the year, and I'll go back.
Why is it telling me
year.
about touch controls?
I don't know.
I want to know about button controls.
Oh, there's a beautiful Joe gravestone in the back there too.
A what? Oh, really?
I guess so.
See, this kind of stuff is what makes me like not super in love with the character action genre from a gameplay standpoint. Like the whole like combo thing, like the whole thing of like memorizing like what is XXA? What is XXXAAA? You know, like, and that's why I've never really been super huge into fighting games either. Like, but I say that like, it's still a acceptable, this kind of gameplay is still an acceptable vehicle for, some sort of entertaining, stupidity or thematic something or other that is just fun.
There was a $4.99 from Chillerino asking, what moon-centric song do you think will be featured in Bayonetta 3 after Moon River and Fly Me to the Moon?
Oh, I mean, I never even made the connection that they were moon-themed.
Oh, yeah. That was what I was just talking about like a little bit ago. I was wondering what it was going to be, and I think that I'm excited. I mean, I'd be excited if it was a version of, I don't know, like maybe Man on the Moon by Arietta.
I've collected rupees.
Oh, that's cool.
I guess it's the Halos.
Yeah. I'm just like looking to see what I have here in my music library to see if there's any moon stuff that just gets me thinking. I gotta go all the way down to it.
The rupees thing is definitely fun. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I probably knew that from like a Nintendo Direct at some point, but I completely forgot if I did. The witch time, I will say, is definitely a element that makes this type of gameplay more fun for sure.
Yeah, and it just makes you feel like you can do anything.
Mm-hmm. But otherwise, like, I gotta be honest, I'm mostly mashing buttons. I'm not thinking about like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lead this combo into this or that. Now, I do like kind of get into that sort of thing with like Muso games. So I'm not really sure what's like different about that, compared to the more Devil May Cry Bayonetta style, where I feel a little bit more in control in a way.
See, Chillerino says Bad Moon Rising would be a good choice. I mean, there's plenty of good choices, I think. Yeah, and Man on the Moon, REM would be cool. I don't know how they'd make it like work in the context of the game, but it would be interesting. Let's see, I'm just looking at different stuff. I mean, I'm not seeing like anything that's jumping out of me in like my music library. So I don't know. I think that it's gonna be that's the thing that I'm most interested about to find out. There's also $10 from the awesomely named Chicken and Fish. Thank you.
That sounds delicious.
It is some and fish.
Thank you.
I
I couldn't quite hear Maybe it was just a game. I couldn't quite hear your soundboard.
It's a
Chicken.
and fish.
There we go.
So I'm definitely excited for Bayonetta 3 because the new 8BitDo Ultimate Bluetooth controller for Switch comes out the same day. And I'm looking, and I'm for sure leaving work early that day. So I ordered that thing. Like, I mean, I'll be interested.
Oh yeah, what was?
I don't know. It just seems like a Switch Pro controller. But it has, the big thing with it is that it has, the more expensive one has, what is it, like Hall style analog sticks, so they don't have drift on it. They won't drift. I never had a problem with drifting myself.
Yeah, I've never had that aside from maybe with.
But I like that it has its own. It comes with its own charging
DualShock
dock.
2 or something. It's never happened to me on anything else.
Yeah.
But wait, what what style of stick though were you saying it has?
It's called Hall style. Like their technology is like Hall. I don't know. Apparently that's what the Dreamcast controllers have.
Well, one thing that people say, one reason why the N64 stick is so good is I don't know a lot of the technical details, but I guess it uses some sort of like optical tracking technology as opposed to the potentiometers and others, and that's part of the reason it's so good. I know people complain about the form factor and the wearing down of it, but it is like technically pretty amazing.
So the Hall sensor is magnetic, according to Retrode 202.
Is magnetic? Huh.
Yeah. Hall effect sensors.
So how expensive is it?
Like the triggers on the Xbox controllers. I mean, it's cheaper than a Pro controller.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at, I guess, because
and it comes with its own charging dock, which is nice. I know you like those charging docks, and I
should look into it. I didn't really look into it, mostly because 8BitDo has like never made like a perfect D-pad,
Well, it wouldn't be too hard to like have a better D-pad than what's already on there, right?
Yeah, it's very likely that the D-pad would be better than the Switch D-pad anyway. But yeah, I don't know.
I didn't realize that was coming out the same day. I mean, I pre-ordered it just because I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I could maybe see myself getting it, but I mean, I kind of, I still feel like we've got to be like a year or less from the next Switch. That's my hope anyway. Or up to a year or so away. And, we'll see what kind of controller Nintendo makes next. And if it's crap too, then maybe I'll get the 8BitDo. I mean, not that this is a crap. I mean, this is a great controller aside from the D-pad. I mean, it's one of my favorites. Aside from the D-pad. D-pad is bad. Otherwise, it's great.
Yeah. There was $4.99 from Jeppicondyle.
Thank you.
Something like that. Thank you. Saying Bayonetta rules. Currently playing Lollipop Chainsaw. Any thoughts on Suda 51 games? I think that Lollipop Chainsaw might be the only one that I've like fully played all the way through. I really liked it. I know they're like remastering it, but I'm little like I don't know if it's going to be as good because they have to like cut out. Like, apparently they have to change the whole soundtrack for one thing.
And
that's the kind of stuff that never goes well.
I don't think I've actually played through one, but I have several. I have the Switch versions of No More Heroes 1 and 2.
Yeah, I have those too.
I've got Killer 7. And
I have that on the GCN.
And I learned recently that he did direct. I learned that he directed Fatal Frame 4, which I will absolutely be buying. But yeah, I do not have a lot of experience with his games, but I am interested by them. So that's why I have bought them, but I just haven't gotten around to playing them.
Chris Pratt says that they're remaking it because of the soundtrack. So they can't just like do a remaster because of the soundtrack. So they have to completely remake it.
Well, I heard that Suda like wasn't even aware.
Right, yeah.
So there was talk that like it might not even be a real thing. It might have just been like just
wishful thinking.
A rumor. Like I'm not up on the latest news on it, but like it sounded like it was in question at some point of whether this was actually even a real thing or just a rumor.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Did you hear that Bayonetta's recast in the third game?
Yeah, I did, and I don't know about that.
It sounded like it was mostly just like a scheduling conflict or something like that.
They've been working on the game for 6 years.
I know. Or it sounded like
I'll reserve
I got the impression that maybe the
like
actress was. I mean, maybe she was unavailable for like personal reasons or something. But isn't it Jennifer Hale that's doing it? Who is like pretty much the voice actress that is like probably has the most work in the industry. So I mean, she's certainly experienced enough to pull it off, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I will reserve judgment until I hear it, but I feel annoyed about it.
It's sad. It's sad, but I'm sure she's going to do a great job.
Yeah. There was, I missed it 8 minutes or 11 minutes ago. $1 from Chris Fratz. Thank you. Sorry about that. Saying, I'll go see the Mario movie in IMAX if it plays in that format. I still never saw a movie in IMAX, so I need my first watch.
I kind of want to see it in 3D. Like, I mean, I guess IMAX would be 3D maybe, but I don't know if there's also just like a standard 3D.
I don't know.
I know I've been to see movies in IMAX format, but I honestly can't even think of what it would have been. But I know I have.
And it's like there's difference between like the real IMAX and like more like a smaller IMAX. This advertises IMAX. Like there's like a smaller one. Like it's just not like a gigantic like the side of a building IMAX.
I mean, the thing is,
people often refer to like the smaller IMAX as LIMAX.
But the visible viewing area is different from 16:9, right? Like you either are getting more or less, right? Of the 16:9 picture, right? Like, I mean, right. I don't know if you're losing or if you're gaining. But I would
just open at the top and bottom.
I would still consider most in most cases, I think I would consider 16:9 to be like the canon aspect ratio, or well, I mean, movies can also run in different aspect ratios, but like the scene as it would fit on a 16:9 screen, I would personally consider the canonical aspect ratio, because
and most movies are even like full like only shoot most movies only shoot like their action scenes in IMAX when they the aspect ratio changes back and forth. I mean, there's some movies that are completely shot like that, obviously.
I mean, I remember reading about how Lord of the Rings was like shot in like a sort of a taller format, and that some presentations of them like actually have parts of the image that aren't visible on the 16:9 format, but still, like, the fact of the matter is, like, 16:9 is what you can watch at home. Like, being able to watch a some sort of specialty IMAX style aspect ratio away from home or at home is like just something that you can't realistically do properly. So I feel like I don't know how to put it. It's like there's no value in getting overly attached to that version of a movie just because you're never going to be able to watch it after the fact, after it's out of theaters. You know what I mean? So who cares if something's missing visually? But again, I don't actually know whether IMAX adds or subtracts from what you can view in a 16:9 format. Or it probably varies. I don't know. I don't pay a lot of attention to it. I normally go to movies and vanilla theater presentation.
Yeah. I mean, even like 3D stuff, I've only seen it in 3D when it's like been shot in 3D. I've never seen a shot in 2D movie like this been converted.
You did like Terminator 2 or something.
Oh, I guess I saw Jurassic Park like that.
But you also saw Terminator 2, right?
No, I mean, I saw the re-release of that, but I don't think it was in 3D.
I thought it was.
Maybe it was. I mean, I guess that just goes to show
the impact that it had.
The impact that I had. Like, I mean, I said last week that, I took my kids to see Avatar in 3D. And they had no expectations. They had no idea what it looked like. And they ended up, like, having the greatest time. Mm-hmm. I would say that it was, like, a movie magic moment for them.
Do you think it being back in theaters is that going to add to its already accrued like box office?
Oh yeah, I will.
So do you think like part of this whole exercise is to regain that? Like it's a ploy to regain it?
Yeah, I think that they've already regained it.
Probably, because I don't think it was a significant difference.
No, I mean, it was like they really had to push to get that last little bit out of Endgame.
Yeah.
And I feel like it happened during a different re-release. But
right, well, they added like 2 seconds of footage or something to entice people to come back.
To Endgame, yeah.
Yeah.
But they definitely have like regained it. But I mean, my kids they had an awesome time because I think that they didn't expect it to be as 3D as it was, and they were just like, I mean, I've never seen my son like on the edge of his seat, like the way he was. I mean, he was like way into it, and he said, he's like, yeah, he's like, you tell kids at school they went to see it, and he's like, yeah, nobody cared.
I like Mr. Dude describing my movie watching experience. Go to a vanilla theater, eat popcorn plain, no butter, and 1 single scoop of vanilla ice cream for dessert.
There was $7 from Mega X6.
Thank you.
7 minutes ago. Thank you. Saying a Bayonetta in Link's costume, and I'm currently going to the last dungeon of Zelda 2 for the first time in my life. I'll be happy to complete it. That doesn't sound like someone who's having a very good time.
That was Zelda 2, you said?
Yeah.
I mean, it's once you get to the final dungeon, though, you don't have to travel all the way back. That's the nice thing about that dungeon. The only point in the game where once you get there, you're there.
There's also $2 from Jonathan Hinson saying, Coury, did you know that Try and I are starting our own horror movie podcast? Just kidding. Love that new podcast, man.
For a second, I was like,
So, like, oh, that's that happening? You guys are recording it tomorrow? It's just an idea that he just came up with. He doesn't even run it by you yet. So, I mean, I talked about it last week, but it's actually like kind of officially launching tomorrow. Chris from Classic Gaming Quarterly and myself just like started a podcast where it's just us like BSing for a little while, and then we have a question that we have come up with, and that neither one of us have like really prepared any like thoughts on, and then we like that is like a conversation starter.
Yep.
So you can you can watch episode 0. I mean, it's going to be available on like all your favorite podcast downloads, but you can watch it like the video version on a YouTube channel for it, and I will post. And you know what? Actually, you know, I'm going to tweet this out tomorrow, but people can also just go ahead and here's all your information. You can even subscribe to the podcast right now if you want to. And this will go out like via Twitter and stuff tomorrow, but if you'd like to check it out, you can click that link. And also, if you want to watch the video version of episode 0, I can get that for you in just a second. But really, all it is just us like we're just like hanging out and talking for a while, and then we have a question.
Is this magic flute supposed to be is this like a Zelda thing, or
you can also follow that link like after the stream is over. Open that in another tab.
It doesn't sound like the description doesn't sound like a Zelda thing. It doesn't look like a Zelda thing, but I wonder if it's supposed to be.
I mean, I still cannot believe that we got a Twitter handle and all these other, and an Instagram just called here's my podcast. Like, I think that's crazy. That sounds like a.
This is going to be the thing
that
puts you on the map just because you got that.
I mean, it sounds like a $100,000 name. $100,000 Twitter handle.
Like someone, like there will be someone with like a lot of money starting some big serious thing, and they're going to like try to get you to sell them that. For the right price, you might do it.
I mean, it does like that. It's memorable, right?
Yeah. Let's
and eventually I can see that becoming
mix up the costume. Why not?
Yeah. I could see that becoming like the short name for it. You know, like MLiG for us or CGQ. Like
what's the short name?
You hear that new episode of Here's My Podcast?
You all were talking about that, and I was like, I was kind of thinking. I feel like, well, I mean, with the, I don't know, with the handle, maybe it will encourage people to say, "Here's my podcast." But like, I feel like if people were to just shorten it, they might just go to, the My Question podcast, or even the Question podcast.
Yeah, it's possible, but it'll be interesting. I mean. It might sound stupid, but the entire like basis of like doing the podcast is we wanted something that we didn't have to like really put any thought or effort into.
Which is
what I mean?
Fine. You don't need anything more on your plate.
Yeah, we just wanted something where it's just like an excuse for us to like
hang out,
talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Like just like BS about stuff for a while.
Yeah.
I love that it has like this Indiana Jones style map scene.
It's actually like really like kind of nice and high res looking. It's like pretty good.
But yeah, people can like subscribe or like edit whatever their podcast app.
Where is it available other than YouTube?
I mean, there's podcasts. I like if you just go to like, so Chris made a link tree page, which just like has like links to all the different things, and people can it has the Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Podbean, and he's like working on adding like Stitcher and like all these other things. Like there's so many podcasting platforms. It's crazy. But ideally what we want to do is remain a month ahead of our release schedule. So we're like trying to record like 1 or 2 a week. And we just recorded one today. So we've recorded 5 episodes.
Nice.
So we're like staying ahead of the curve.
That's a weird moment for a title drop after everything that's happened in this already.
In the Peach outfit.
Yeah.
There was also $1 from Chris Fratz. Again, thank you. Saying there was a 3D version of T2, and I wouldn't mind watching it, to be honest. I also want to see Avatar in IMAX 3D, which is that's why I did my research on the theater, but there's a VR IMAX theater I can watch the original in 3D in it, at least. Like, I have no idea, like, how that would work. Like, I don't know if that would be the same experience. Like VR is incredible. And I can like add to the sense of scale, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Without it being just knowing that it's just inside the headset. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to. It could look like it, but just knowing that it's not really there, like might change the impression that it gives. I don't know. But I mean, like, the 3D version of T2, like, it wasn't very memorable. Like, I think that I probably did see that version because it was, I think that's the only way they released it in theaters. And I hadn't seen the movie in theaters in so long. But, like, when that movie came out, I saw it like 4 times in the theater.
What, T2?
Like I saw it twice for like full price, and then I saw it twice at the Dollar Theater, like a year after it came out. Back when movies, like really popular movies, would come out in video like a year later.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I think that seeing it, the re-release, it was only viewable in 3D, so I probably did. T2 Trainspotting, I still have not seen Trainspotting 2, and I've like wanted to, and it's like that is one of those movies that feels like it just like never even happened. It just came and went without anybody talking about it, and I'm sure it's like pretty decent, but like it just seemed like it didn't even happen. Yeah, so it is a great sequel. I mean, I should just like rent it or something, and watch it, because it's weird. And I remember seeing the trailer for it and watching it a couple of times. So the alleged rumor is that Half-Life Alyx is coming to the PSVR 2, apparently.
What's coming to PSVR 2?
Okay. Half-Life Alex.
Oh, really? Is that confirmed or is that a rumor?
It's a rumor.
Yeah.
It's an alleged rumor.
I mean, people have been saying it should happen, but like, is there any reason to believe this rumor? I mean, I sure as heck hope it happens because I want to play it really bad.
Gaming Blows watched Rocky 6 today. Every time I watch it, it gets a little bit worse. I loved it in the theaters, but now, You're talking about Rocky Balboa, right? I assume you are. Well, how do you Gaming Blows? How do you feel about Creed though? Creed was pretty good, I thought. Creed is like the real. I mean, Creed is like actually like the real Rocky 5. The real Rocky 5000. Isn't that Back to the Future?
Oh yeah, Rocky 5000. I have only seen Rocky 1, and it was a pretty long time ago.
I mean, there's some people that would argue that that's the only one that's really worth watching. It is interesting though how, like the evolution of the first Rocky and the first Rambo are like real serious, like they're real serious movies. And then both of them slowly, like, starting with the second one, slowly go off that track to being like, you know, this is like 80s action hero.
I mean, I didn't know Rocky went off the rails like Rambo does.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, Rambo, you know, Rambo goes immediately off the rails.
Which I have still never seen a Rambo movie, actually.
And there's, I think that, like, Rocky, I guess maybe doesn't go off the rails until like, so is the third one the one where he like buys the robot for
buys a robot?
It's hilarious.
That's definitely not something I would.
Or is that Rocky 4? I don't know. It's Rocky 4, 3 or 4 is the one where he buys the robot for Paulie. And it's like this robot, and it's like the whole scene with the robot is hilarious. Wait, did you say you've never seen a Rambo movie?
I mean, it's just one of those like priorities that has just never happened for whatever reason.
Interesting. I mean, they're all in the Voodoo. You could watch them. Yeah. I mean, I would not recommend Last Blood. Like, I watched Last Blood. It was pretty bad.
I mean, but once I started, I would probably once I started, I would probably commit. But to watching the whole thing. But yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it. It's like something that's just out there that's like, I know I should watch those someday, but I haven't done it.
Yeah. You know, the second Rambo is written by James Cameron.
Wait, which one?
The second Rambo.
Is written by James Cameron?
Is Rambo First Blood Part 2. Like the evolution of what happens, like how the first Rambo ends to like how what happens in the second one is like, it's pretty hilarious.
These look like,
but you know, like Rambo, just Rambo, the fourth one it's kind of it's a scary movie, and then it gets like incredibly violent at the end.
I see. Oopsie.
I mean, what I really like is how in the fourth Rambo, like his giant knife has just like become like so big. He has like this knife. You know, it's like we used to call them Rambo knives. Like when I was a kid, like these big, like I don't know what they're called.
I think there was that was always like a classic strong bad thing where he had he made this like painting of a guy who just had like a giant knife and it was just called like Big Knife.
Big knife. This is a big knife. Let's see here. There was $5 Canadian from Buddy Scotch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Saying I was working with a guy from a local university and I joked with him that I wanted a PVM, to which he told me he had a Samsung with BNC connectors. Stay tuned.
Oh.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Charlie's too busy rewatching Leprechaun the Wood to watch a Rambo movie. It's true.
What?
Mr. Dew said Charlie's too busy rewatching Leprechaun in the Hood to watch a Rambo movie. I've only watched Leprechaun in the Hood once.
Yeah. Bowie knife, that's what I was looking for.
I don't know, it wasn't the worst thing ever.
But yeah, I mean, like the way that the Rambo changes from like the first to the second movie is is crazy. It just like basically disregards everything that happens in the first movie. But you know, like I said, like 4 is like the perfect ending for the series. The way that 4 ends is great.
Oh.
Is great. Like the ending credits for 4 is perfect. And it like brings back the old like Rambo theme music and it's awesome. And then they basically like ruined it with Last Blood.
Some places in this world are closer to Paradiso.
Wait, so isn't the first Rambo Last Blood and then the second is Last Blood Part 2?
First Blood. The first one's not even called Rambo. It's just called First Blood.
And then Rambo Part 2. Or is it Rambo First Blood Part 2?
The second, yes, it's called Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Okay. And then there's called Last Blood?
No. So there's Rambo, or there's First Blood, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Rambo, and then Rambo Last Blood.
Oh, that's pretty complicated.
It is.
But you knew it all off the top of your head.
Yes. Yeah.
Real cute. But let's get one thing straight. Your fights are yours.
I'm
only here to watch my handiwork.
Anonymous is saying thoughts on Hot Shots Part 2. Awesome parody of the original Rambo sequels. And
I've
never
I don't think
it's called. Like it might have been called John Rambo in other countries, but I'm pretty sure the hero is just called Rambo. But Hot Shots Part 2 is like Hot Shots 2 is like way better than the first one, I think.
I've never heard of that.
Rambo 358 by 2 days, Satan's counterattack. I mean, if they don't do a Kingdom Hearts game with the with Satan's counterattack in the title, it's like a real missed opportunity. Tax Cut edition. It's like Tax Cut with dragons. It's like tax cut with Bowie knives. Last Blood was basically 2 movies. What if Taken starred Rambo? And what if Home Alone starred Rambo? Yeah. But Hot Shots 2 is like, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but it is way better than the first one. Way better than the first one. There is also $2 from EB Chill 2.
Thank you.
With no comment. If he meant they have the comment.
But thank you.
Just let me know.
You here for business or pleasure?
Damn it, 5769 says, I always thought the Highlander 2, The Quickening was a ridiculous title. And it is. That entire movie, like, you know, I saw that movie in the theater. Have you seen any of the Highlander movies?
No.
I mean, the first one is of a time, you know, it's like, it's pretty good, like, 80s movie. The second one is, like, disastrously bad. It's like it's so bad that they like went back and like removed entire portions of it and like re-edited the entire movie so that it like. I mean, it's so stupid. Do you even care if I like tell you?
No.
Because
I'll
you know, like
probably
all
forget
this
it by
stuff,
the time I ever watch it. So.
Well, I mean, it's like the first one. You know the basic premise of Highlander. Though.
It's like these people that live like a super long time, right?
Yeah, they're immortal, and the only way to kill them is to cut off their head.
Okay.
And when you kill them, you basically get their power, right? And the idea is like for there only to be one left. And it's just kind of a cool thing. It's kind of a cool premise, and it takes place like over the course of like hundreds of years. And then like the second movie opens, and it's like actually they're all aliens.
Oh.
And like they're just like from another planet, and it has like this big battle scene on this planet. And
I mean,
and the guy who like won in the first one, as soon as some people from this planet come to Earth, like he loses all of his power and has to do it all again.
Well, I mean that's basically the Eternals.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine if like they revealed all that stuff like in the second movie, and it wasn't even not even hinted at, even for a second, in anything. It's like actually, you know what? They're all aliens.
I mean, the fact that you have described this to me in the span of 1 minute, though, like it doesn't sound that ridiculous. So I'd have to see how I feel about actually watching it.
But yeah, and then you know, like there's a character like the third one wasn't that bad because they just like had it where one of these people, you know, one of the high like the immortals, which like caught like under like a cave in a tunnel for like hundreds of years, so it was like he was basically dead. What is that? Is like Highlander 3 the Highlander the third dimension or the fifth dimension or something like that.
Wow.
The final I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure it was the final dimension. Oh man. But then there's like a whole TV show and stuff. I never really watched the TV show. There's two pounds from JL. Thank you. Saying
Thank
Scanners
you.
Reboot. Anyone? You're saying that you want it? Like that's as a movie that I've never seen. I mean, I've seen many of the exploding heads in Scanners, but I've never seen the movie.
It's a thing that I definitely know the name of, but I can't think off the top of my head what thing I'm vaguely aware of it is.
There's also $2 from Phenonymous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Saying good work on the Klonoa video.
Oh yeah, that came out today.
The first half of it, I guess. I don't know how he split it, but I guess he did.
I assume it ends before the sequel talk. I think.
I'm assuming that's the case too. I also said the Dark City is like that. Where do you mean like Dark City is like one? Like it has a crazy twist. Did you ever see Dark City?
Oh, Drum and I actually watched that like a month or two ago.
Oh yeah, it seems like something you would like.
It was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you probably knew.
I knew going in. Well, the reason we watched it is, we actually haven't gotten back to it because of just the timing of everything. But we were, we were going to rewatch all of the Matrix movies, and then finally watch the new one.
Yeah.
And don't say anything like, "Oh, well, it's gonna be interesting what you think of that." No. But when we we're like, well, like with if we're going to throw the Animatrix in there, we thought, well, then it's going to be an uneven number of movies. So for our double feature with Matrix 1, let's precede it with Dark City. Because Drum said he had heard that it's, even, I don't know if it's like really possible. It could have
came out like the same year.
Like a year before maybe, or it seemed like it came out so close that I'm not sure if it could have necessarily inspired the Matrix, but he said he described it as like,
right.
it's supposed to be similar in the sense of like, you get this vibe that something's not quite right with the world, right?
Yes.
And so I went into it knowing basically that there had to be a twist of like what the world's circumstances are.
Did it match what you expected it to be?
Not necessarily, but I mean, I thought the twist was cool enough. Like,
it's like handled like perfectly. I think.
I like stupid twists actually, and like, yeah, there's like an extremely high chance of it not working, but dang it, I like it when they try. Like I feel like the payoff is worth it when it does work. When just like a bonkers twist works.
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
but it definitely doesn't always work.
Right. Oh, for sure. But like that, I think it works really well, and the visual style is great. It's the same director that did The Crow. Did you ever see The Crow? The first one, at least. I mean, The Crow is like absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, I definitely know that.
Yeah, and it's. So you can tell it has like the same like kind of visual style.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of got a just a strange
like a
dark vibe,
gothic kind of feel to it. It's very like moody, and I'm not really sure. Like, it seems like after those two movies, was it Alex Proyas? I think was the director for it. Like, I'm not sure like really what he's even done or if he's even still making movies.
I mean, I always like I mean, it might seem like a strange comparison, but like I almost feel like it has a similar vibe to games like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, in the sense that like, well, I'm talking about like The Crow and stuff like that, where it's like the world seems the way the world is presented is like so strange, and it feels so distant from regular people that it's like, I almost can't envision how people live in this world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that.
Like,
you just be miserable all the time. Like, how can you possibly be happy in that world?
Yeah, it's just this. It's like, but it's like so disconnected from the regular people too, because it's like you're always focused on these like crazy superheroes and stuff, right?
Yeah, you never see like just people living in the world. I mean, occasionally you do, like, but
like that's how I've always felt about like Devil May Cry. Is it's like I just like this. It feels like this world exists only for the characters in this story, but like I know that there are like regular humans living out in the city and stuff, but I can't envision it.
Yeah.
What are the what are the crystals under my life bar for? How do I use those?
I think once they charge up is when you can do your like real, like when you like summon the, like do the like the torture moves.
Oh. Is it just automatic? Because I haven't really noticed.
It just fills up, and then you kind of have the option to do it, I think. I love when, I don't know if you can hear this, but like when you kill like these big creatures like that, they make these like funny like animal sounds. Where it sounds like they're just being like, I don't know like how to describe it. But it's just like, it makes them sound like really weak, I guess. Oh, Rally Lancer, you should definitely go see The Crow at the Independent Theater, and like see it in the theater if you get a chance. I saw that movie opening night when it came out. And I really, really love that movie. There's $2 from Quest for Glory Gamer asking about future coming videos, game room tour coming soon. And yes. So, like I said, I am really focused on getting an episode out like every 2 weeks ish for the rest of the year.
You're going to target it anyway.
I'm going to be targeting
just like Bayonetta targets 60 frames per second.
Yes, and there might be some times, I mean, like I wanted to have, I'm working on a Sega Ages video, which is like, you know, hey, I haven't done one of those in a long time. But also I wanted something that was mainly like gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, like after doing like so many heavy B-roll stuff, like you know, with the, especially with the recent, like the memory cards episode, you know, I just wanted something that was like mainly game capture. And I'm working on that. And I know that I've done like, previously done like 5, but I'm really trying to do like volume 11 through 19 in this one. Because I think that starting with 20 is when they turn, like they get a lot better. So, I mean, and if I'm doing one every like, you know, the last one I did was 2019, I guess.
So and I'm working on a video too. I don't want to say what it is just yet. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be kind of framed up as almost a. I'm intending to make it at least in part kind of a nostalgic look at creative software from the early 2000s and like the internet and creative software from the early 2000s, wrapped in a game themed. It's almost going to be kind of like an LGR video, except from someone who doesn't know that much about computers. It's going to be a little different, but I'm excited. I'm excited to do it. I'm actually like I went to the grid yesterday to see if I could get some DDR1 RAM, because for whatever reason my
I have to pee really quick, but
okay.
You go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah, my college computer, like apparently I took the RAM out at some point. And the guy at the grid thought that they had DDR1 RAM, but seemed like they didn't. So I ordered some on eBay, and I should have it next week. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that computer will boot. If not, I'll figure out some other way to get some of the Windows XP stuff I wanted to do in the video. And I did replace the thermal paste at least. It's a Pentium 4. But anyway, yeah, I'm not gonna say what it is just yet. If it's not out by next Sunday, maybe I'll tease what it is. But it's possible. Like, I mean, obviously Coury and I are both working on episodes, so I mean, you can probably expect an episode from each of us within the next couple of weeks. So, just depending on the timing, obviously we wouldn't release them like a couple days apart or anything like that, but you know, maybe as much as a week. I don't know. slow pan of every single game we own.
All right. But other than that, like I have like a lot of different things that I am going to try to really do, like, and just try to push through to the end of the year, and have it be regular releases. I'm getting back into that groove where suddenly, like I don't feel like overwhelmed by like everything. It's just like I'm gonna if I target those 2 weeks, like I just do the best episode I can, the most contentful episode I can in that amount of time. And if I don't get to everything, it's okay. It's just like, that's fine. That's just the way it is. And I think that's okay. Like I'm really gonna try to get that EGM documentary out by the end of the year too. And that might sound crazy, but I've decided, I've like resigned myself to like what I think I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna have like a little bit of a intro on it, and then I'm just gonna edit the interviews and put them together and just like have it basically be almost entirely sound bites. That's my plan.
The stuff that happens in these games is just so ridiculous. Like,
yeah, she like poses for the camera.
Well, yeah, but I mean, also just like that guy grabbing, the section of the bridge in a fight while you're on that thing. I mean, that's what's fun about these games. It's just like these stupid scenarios. And honestly, I gotta say, like, I feel like I'm remembering a lot more about. Oh, I think I'm supposed to be running. I feel like I'm remembering a lot more about the early game than I thought I would, which I think speaks.
First couple levels, like like right here, like when you do like the witch walk, when you go on the on the side of the building here, when you get done with the flashback, that's usually where, like, since I like when I replayed this, that's usually about to the point where I play up to.
Mm-hmm. But like this. I mean, I think it speaks to the general strength of the scenario that I feel like I've remembered quite a bit of what's happened so far,
Yeah.
Like, I've remembered a lot of the bigger enemies and stuff like that.
There is $5 from Fickle Pickle. Fickle Pickle. That's
good.
That is a good name. Saying amazing looking setup, by the way. I love the CRT cams and display stand backdrop. You do always put so much awesome work into this. Cheers.
I actually was considering right before the stream, and I'm glad I didn't, because I ended up starting it a few minutes late anyway.
You want to swap the sides, right?
I wanted to swap the sides just because, well, really both of us are kind of looking the wrong way since I've moved my camera. So I want to put the PVMs on the other side, or at least have the option for it. But I didn't. I didn't have time to do that. I've just been lazy about it.
Well, maybe next week you could just like redo the graphic. I could just do it too,
Yeah. I mean, it should be really easy. I didn't think about it until it was kind of too late.
I mean, like, when was this layout created? It's been like a few years now.
Oh, quite a few years. Quite a few years.
I'm sure that if you did change it, a lot of people would probably be happy about it and think,
cool decision.
it's so stupid. There is a like there was a response to a tweet recently that just said cool decision. And I couldn't help but think,
cool decision.
Does anyone know if I don't convert my my points in this mini game if I keep my points next level?
I don't know.
Or should I just
I
exchange them if I
the...
can't afford anything?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Rally Lancer. I apologize. It was 15 minutes ago. Rally Lancer had a $5 donation 15 minutes ago.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry about that. Saying, Try, would you play a Kingdom Hearts game where half the cast is replaced with King of the Hill characters? It's called Kingdom Hanks. I feel like you've never seen King of the Hill.
Oh, I mean, I've seen a little. What I mean, I think that the whole concept of that sounds pretty amusing. I mean, considering I don't have like a super strong attachment to the show, I probably
You definitely play it.
I probably wouldn't play it, but I mean, it sounds fun.
That makes it sound almost more enjoyable though. If you don't have it.
Maybe.
Imagine if that's what they did with Kingdom Hearts. Do you think that the hardcore fans would be like really upset about it?
Probably.
And they say they've made a huge mistake. They just shot themselves in the foot. My kids are off school tomorrow, and I'm gonna set them up with Rescue Rangers 2-player and tell them that they're not allowed to do anything else until they finish it together. That they work together and beat it. That's my plan for tomorrow.
Oh, well, let's see what the Galactic Bounty Hunter is like.
Quest for Glory Gamer says, I like your CRT PVM video. I recently found a 36 SDX 88B.
I gotta be honest. I am bad with model numbers for things that. What that looks like. Yeah, model numbers for things that I don't own, and even model numbers for a lot of things I do own. I don't know off the top of my head what they are. I mean, things like 20L5 and M2 MDU and stuff like that. I know, but like, I'm not great with model numbers.
Rally Lancer says, I just wanted to say Kingdom Hanks.
Well, you should be proud for that one. You definitely should.
I mean, that's like I don't know those like model numbers either. Like stuff like that. That's just like, I don't know. It may as well just be like a different language. That model number 36. I'm gonna look it up. I bet that it probably won't have input lag if it's a CRT.
Yeah.
It should not. If it does, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a Hitachi HD ready multimedia television. It might have input lag then.
Maybe.
It's on Amazon. It's currently unavailable though. 36 inches.
If it can't work with light gun games, then there's probably some sort of processing and lag. But hey, if you like how it looks, then
it's a 1999 HDTV. The most recent,
a
review of it says that it's 2011, and this 1999 HDTV is still going strong. On the used market, the value for this is priced. For the price is difficult to beat. With any luck, this TV or a Sony XBR can be had for in the range of $50 to $100. The 186 pounds. It weighs 186 pounds. I mean, it might have some lag. Although, like I from what I understand, I heard Bob say in his most recent weekly update say that he's working on a video about HD CRTs and how they might not be as bad as people thought.
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't have the means to lag test last time I used one, so.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, for a while there, I thought I had the best TV in the world. You know, the main disappointment for it, I think, for me, is that, you know, it didn't do 240p in the true way, but I didn't know about I didn't understand 240p and deinterlacing and stuff like that at the time, so I thought it looked great. But, you know, it's absolutely possible for an HD CRT to do 240p properly and do 480i properly and do, you know, 480p and 720p and 1080i properly, because, you know, the 20L5 does it and BVMs do it. It's just that consumer grade HD CRTs that I know of do not. Hitachi, I have no clue about.
Yeah.
Hitachi, I have no clue about. I've only ever even heard of the Sony and Panasonic HD CRTs. I've never would have guessed that that Hitachi made any. Never would have had a clue. You know, I wonder if there are
Does the visor ever go down?
I don't know. I wonder if... I kind of doubt it. I wonder if any cutscenes in this game can't have the models because they're, like, pre-rendered. Like, it's impressive to me so far that they haven't been doing anything with pre-rendered trickery.
Yeah.
Because she's been wearing the costumes in every cutscene so far.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that they're all, like, real time.
I was actually surprised when I was capturing some Final Fantasy 13 stuff for John. You know, I played recently the game on Series X, where the FMVs were replaced with higher quality versions. But he wants, and my saves, of course, work through the cloud on a real Xbox 360. And I loaded up, you know, just some random save. And there was like this whole series of cutscenes that use in-engine graphics, but were pre-rendered. And I never had a clue because, like, you know, the encoding quality is good on PS3 and Series X, but like it was very obvious on Xbox 360 that it was like much less good looking. You know, so sometimes, you know, they do trickery like that. You know, I didn't know. I had no clue until Uncharted 4 was coming out and people were talking about like, oh, the cutscenes are real time. Or really it might have been like when the Nathan Drake collection came out where it's like, oh, the cutscenes have a better bit rate. Like I never knew that they were not in engine. The Naughty Dog cutscenes were not in engine on PS3. I had no idea.
Never thought about it either.
During the generation. And I think that's a big part of why people are like, oh, like, we don't need a Last of Us remake because look how good the original looks. But, you know, even, you know, the remastered version on PS4, like, they are using the engine, but they are pre-rendered. They couldn't have run natively on a PS3 at that quality. But I thought they were. Like, I was fooled into thinking that, like, Naughty Dog were just wizards, and, you know, I thought they were because I was playing those games originally on my HD CRT. And then, like, a not amazing 32-inch LCD. Like, I didn't really have... I mean, like, that HD CRT was not really high enough fidelity to really even see the full detail of 720p. So I had no clue that the cutscenes in those games were encoded. I'm really looking forward
to seeing your guys' Final Fantasy 13 video, just because, you know, even when I was capturing some stuff for the PS3 version, like that game is still like so, like even PS3 version like looks so good.
It looks so good. Like, oh my gosh, the visuals hold up so well, and a big part of it, I think, is because most other games that generation, most other, AAA games that generation, especially after it released, were trying to push graphics features that honestly, the PS3 and Xbox 360 were not really equipped to do.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy 13, like it uses, for one, it's very linear, so it's able to kind of constrain how it uses its visual resources. And
but the character models just look incredible too.
The what?
Just, like all the time. The character models.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, they were, if you look at the early stuff, they're actually downgraded from how the originals. I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's because of the Xbox 360 version," but dude, nothing on PS3 ever looked like those original models. The PS3 would have struggled with it too. They just had a very ambitious initial target for the game.
Yeah.
That was unrealistic. But they still look so good. Like Lightning, I just always remember just being in awe of how you could see like the texture of the fabric of Lightning's jacket.
Yeah.
Like it looks so good.
Yeah.
But the thing is they decreased the visual target for the character models, but they made very smart decisions in terms of where to make those cutbacks. But there is definitely, if you look at some of the early screenshots and compare them to the same scenes in the final game, it's clear that there were downgrades, but it wasn't because of the Xbox 360, because Naughty Dog maybe achieved that with like The Last of Us, but in rendered scenes, and I think a lot of people were fooled into thinking like, oh, this is what the PS3 can do. This, like when they saw Naughty Dog games, people thought like, this is the power of exclusivity, right? This is the power of only having to work on one system. And it's like, yeah, but those cutscenes are pre-rendered.
Yeah. There was $5 from Blade Blue.
Oh, thanks.
An excellent job on the saves video. I actually converted my 20-year-old PAL PS2 saves to NTSC and it worked. All the best to both of you. So did you have to change the region on those though? Because I've had to do that before, which was not a trivial process. A lot of like testing it to see if I could get it to work. Like it and a lot, like the thing is like when you're doing like saves like that, when you're trying to convert certain aspects about saves, there's a lot of rebooting the game, turn off the system, like it gets really annoying after a while to move things around or take out memory cards, load it up onto a PS3 and doing all this other stuff.
John was saying that it might be possible. He'd say he did something like this for something not that long ago.
Where he changed like the region?
Well, where he...
Oh, it's possible. I did it with a MotoGP.
He was able to trade like PS3 saves. Like
like re-sign them.
Yeah.
I'll look at that a little bit. Like I tried to do that with Final Fantasy 13 when I was actually capturing footage, because I was like, I wonder if I could find some saves online of some mid-game points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did, but the thing is that you can load it, but it's like you cannot save it again. It says this save file was generated on another PS3 tied to a different user account and you cannot save your game once you load it.
Well, I mean, the main thing is like, because of trophies, they gotta prevent cheating,
Right.
But so you can load it though. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. But and I asked like, oh, should I get footage from this part? And John was like, no, I'm actually playing through and I've passed that part already.
Yeah, I mean, he's ended up playing a lot further than I thought he was going to.
Blade Blur says, no, it's just a matter of changing a few letters. It does screw up some games like Final Fantasy X, since the European version had extra stuff. The US version didn't, like the extra grid. I guess that would make sense. I mean, I only did it to convert saves for MotoGP, which I can only find a European save that had Klonoa unlocked in MotoGP. Did you see that part? Like any of that footage of Klonoa in MotoGP? Because it's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things because it's so dumb. But yeah, I mean that took quite a few like trial and error tests for that to happen. Almost dead. I like the little hands grabbing for you.
Huh?
No, he's in the US version. I just had to. I could only find a save that had him unlocked for the European version. So I had to I downloaded that save and converted it to work with the US version. And it took me multiple attempts to get it to work right.
He sounds like something that would be like the last thing you unlock.
Yeah.
Wait, why did that? Why did that
I
still
used
fail?
the temporal, which.
Oh, maybe I should get all the way over before doing it. I didn't realize I could do it moving so far away from them.
Rally Lancer says that now is the perfect time. It's the perfect month to stream Castlevania Curse of Darkness. Time is running out. Were you saying that you were going to play that recently or something?
I don't remember bringing it up. You know, I do have the Xbox version, which is not considered as good, but I'll
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like sometimes the stream, like the frame rate, like slows down a whole bunch.
I've got green here.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe it's a YouTube problem.
Oh, what we got in here?
Minadashi, he's wondering if Nelly and Sandy are going to dress up for Halloween, and Nelly definitely is. We already got her we got her a hoodie. It has a glow-in-the-dark skeleton on it.
Wow. I'm trying to determine what's inside this. It's like some pizzas and sandwiches, burgers, maybe?
Nelly just got a haircut on Tuesday, and like she let them like cut her beard.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's like basically perfect now. She looks perfect.
I mean, why don't you show us?
Well, I mean, I could. Do you want me to go in here? I mean, she is just like just too cute now.
Well,
like
you
face
can't
is,
you can't tell us this
now.
and not show us. I mean, I don't think Sandy would tolerate any kind of clothes.
Yeah.
My mom tried to get her to wear like this little, like, it's like the most 90s looking hat ever. Like this little hat that my old dog had.
Yeah.
You know, who, you know, we had in the 90s. And it is so 90s looking. It's just got these like colorful, like triangular shapes on it. And
okay. So you go ahead and talk. I'm gonna go and get her. Okay. I switched to the other camera, so I can put her up here. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back.
But anyway, yeah, my mom tried to get her to wear that at some point. Apparently, it was not well tolerated. She's like pawing at it. Oh, I see. Hopefully, I'm not missing anyone because I know Corey's the one that's been keeping track. But I see we've got a Replicant 813 with 499. Thank you. Saying, have you guys checked out Pilot Wings 64 on Nintendo Switch Online? Pretty good, big upgrade in resolution and frame rate. No, but I did hear. I guess I'm unclear on whether. I guess maybe the original. The original game is uncapped frame rate, and maybe that's why. I'm not actually sure. But I don't have the expansion pass. I'm just like I don't want to pay for something that I don't particularly have an interest in using. But I love Pilot Wing 64. You know, I definitely I would be interested in seeing that for sure. Because I love that game, but in generally, I have mixed feelings about high-res N64 games. It can look cool for sure, but I kind of just, for the most part, I enjoy playing them at their original resolution the best, just because I feel like the entire picture is more cohesive. I don't know what their scaling techniques are like on oh, you got Nelly here. Let me
She is.
let me go the dual cam so we can see this a little bigger.
It's the bean. The Nelly
Yeah.
bean.
Yeah, move her. Oh, tilt her head up so we can see her face.
Oh, I don't want to drop her. There you go. Nelly. There you are.
I mean, you're saying she's perfect right now, but isn't the ridiculous unkempt beard and mustache also part of the appeal?
You know, it is. She's like, what is he saying about me? No, it is, but I mean, I think that she's even cuter now. Yeah. That's all I got.
That's all you
Just
got is a cute dog.
Gonna look at her. Look at her right now. Look at that. I don't know if you can see her here. Just gonna give me a hug. Just laying her face down on my shoulder.
I kind of completely forgot about this guy.
Oh, you want to stay down here? Or you want to go back upstairs?
I mean, she can make that
She
decision
is, and
herself,
she's
can't
fully-
she?
She just turned 1
Oh yeah.
about a month ago.
Sadie
Yeah.
will turn 5 in a week or two. Oh, I just realized that as Samus, I'm just getting halos.
Yeah. So if you press the D-pad down, I think it'll close her visor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was also. Oh, did you get this replicant? Were you responding when you talked about
Yes,
Pilot
I
Wing
did.
64? Oh, that's cool. So it looks a lot better.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it's high res, obviously, but the thing that's got people intrigued about it is because it seems to target 60 frames per second, which I'm unclear if that's because of anything they did, or if it's because the game was always uncapped. Because I'm not sure if it is it might be uncapped, but I'm not sure actually.
Okay. And you're not going to pay that money to
No,
see.
I mean, I'm just, you know, they still haven't done anything to make me that interested in the service. Whoa. How do you use items?
Nelly was like 2 months old when we got her.
How do you know?
So
I
she's
feel like
fully
I'm-
grown now.
Oh, okay. Here's my items. Select menu.
You know, like, so her name is Nellie. I call her, it's like evolved over time to be Nellie, then Nellie Bean. Then I just started calling her Bean or Beans. And now I started calling her Lady B.
You told me at one point you were calling her the Genome Soldier.
The Genome Soldier, yeah. And she is so soft.
How
Unbelievably.
how often does she get a bath?
Like once a week.
Once a week?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, usually it's like once a week. Depends on... Because the kids like giving her a little bath. You think that's like a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, I have heard that like too much bath can be bad for dogs' skin, but like my shock is not at whether it's good or bad. I am
maybe it's
shocked
like every
by
week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. It depends.
I'm shocked by the expenditure of effort is all.
Well, the kids like doing that, like giving her a bath.
If they do, then
so maybe it might not be once a week. It might be like every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I don't know. Like, I just know that she got one today.
Sandy has not. Oh, yeah. I guess I did put my visor down at some point. I couldn't tell if it was down or not.
Yeah. Then maybe I don't give her baths, so I don't know. I can't say for sure.
I think it's been a little over a year since Sandy had a bath.
Okay, I mean that feels like a long time.
She should have a bath, but I mean the thing is, like, I mean, it's not like she feels nasty or dirty or anything. Like, dog's fur just kind of. I mean, it's not like she's like rolling around in mud.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get her.
It's a lot easier to give her a bath at my parents' house.
Okay, so it's definitely not that many baths. Everyone's saying like it's like I don't give her baths, so I don't know. Maybe it's one time a month. Maybe it's every other week. I don't know. I think it just depends on like how she's doing.
Let's see. You aren't dirty and nasty, are you, Sam? you it's okay to not have had a bath in a year. I mean, she gets brushed, that's the main thing that, gets all of the loose excess hair out, and that helps clean too. But I mean, it's not like she feels dirty or nothing, But I have been meaning to give her a bath at my parents' house sometime soon. Because it's easier because they got like a laundry room sink, and I don't have that. And that way, like, you can like wash her standing up, and also get help from my mom because it's a pain in the butt to wash a dog with one person, or at least a dog of a medium-sized dog, maybe not a Nelly-sized dog. You gonna sit here for a while, Sandy? You can sit here.
You over it? You ready to go back upstairs?
Can't she go back upstairs on her own?
Oh, yeah. Or she might lay down on my chair.
Does she spend a lot of time downstairs?
It depends. If it's just me that's here, then she'll stay down here with me.
How's Sophia lately? Staying out of the way?
Yeah. Nelly, what do you need? You want to say something? You got something to say? She's looking. She's watching what you're playing.
Oh yeah.
But if I just like look at her for a minute, sometimes she'll like bark at me. So I can see if I can get her to bark at me. See her down there? You can't really see her that well. If I'm just gonna look at her. What's going on?
Sandy does this thing where, like, if you stare at her, like, she like stares and stares and stares and stares, and then she does this like little head movement where she just goes, like moves her head forward, like like it's almost in like consistent intervals. Like, just like, yeah, what? What?
Ellie, what are you doing? She's probably peeing over there. So it seems like.
Oh, is she being suspicious?
Yeah. But no, I mean, I can't say for sure how many times she is bathed.
Well, a dog that size is probably not a big pain in the butt to wash. And, you know, like, I mean, Sandy's fur is so thick. I mean, getting her dry. I mean, it's like, it's it'll like take your whole afternoon to like get her dry.
Yeah. It just depends. I think it depends on like if she's gotten into something. You know, like we took her. We have some friends that have like this cabin, like out in the woods. So she went out yesterday with us, and so that's why she got a bath today.
Yeah, I mean, Sandy doesn't really get into stuff, so. Well, you know, I mean, sometimes you know you gotta do a little special washing on your butt if you know.
Well, I mean,
if circumstances require it, but you know, I'm talking like a full-on bath though. That's a pretty rare occurrence. When she was a puppy, it was actually pretty common though, because you know she did get a little messier as a puppy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was.
She must have left when I was in.
There was a couple of mornings. You know, she slept in the crate. You know, the first while I had her, and she. There were a couple of mornings where there was a bit of a poopy disaster, and overnight and. 2 mornings in a row, actually. So, yeah, 2 mornings in a row, you had a full-on bath right away. That wasn't great. But she was smaller then and less thick fur, so wasn't that hard. But nowadays, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, that's like my least favorite thing to do. It's like when there's been a mess.
Would die to see Sandy puppy pics. Maybe I could share some next time I'm not the one playing.
Oh, geez. I missed did I miss like a bunch? Yeah, I missed like two donations. I apologize. Whew. All right, so there's $5 from EB Chill 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. Say, do you think some of the Final Fantasy 13 later bosses have a Bayonetta style to them? I can see that. Like the final boss.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of like the final boss. I mean, I can see that for sure, because they definitely kind of go for like sort of almost like an angelic type thing, which is common for Final Fantasy final bosses, though. But I also feel like it kind of almost makes me the second to final form, especially for Final Fantasy 13's final boss, like kind of has like this very strange, like sort of fixed pose and like this like side profile, which really makes me think of just like, you know, Super Nintendo era enemy sprites with their, you know, they're static, right? And they're sort of like stuck in a strange, you know, unnatural pose, but it looks really cool, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just, like that. The last like couple of areas. I mean, it definitely has like angel-looking weirdness on it. There's also $50.
Whoa! Thank you.
From Adam Reeves via the Streamlabs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying from analog video to memory cards, your high quality content has educated me on many topics over the years. Thank you so much. If you guys ever attend conventions, please consider coming to the Game On Expo in Phoenix next year.
Oh.
I think there was. I think that there was there was one point where we almost went to game.
Oh really? I was not aware of it. I don't think.
If they have they should have it like during the winter, because I feel like Game On in Phoenix, Arizona, like that's got to be real hot like during the summer.
Not really. I mean, I've never been to Phoenix, but I mean, I've been to Arizona in the summer, and it's dry. It's dry heat. It's not like here.
Dry, yeah.
Where it's humid.
But, I mean,
so like dry heat does not bother me. I think that'd be just fine. I'd love to go.
Yeah.
I did not know about that convention.
That's the one by ran by like Gamester 8081 or whatever.
Oh really?
Right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, if you want us to go, you should tell the organizers you'd like them to help us get out there for it.
But thank you for that. Thank you. I see Dustin's in the chat saying, "Han me bookie."
Han me boogie.
Han.
R2 Toa.
R2 Toa, and like, what is it? Yesterday or like a couple of days ago, like I don't know how it came up, but I said, "Lay Jabba no bother."
Jabba no bother.
It's just like certain like lines. I guess.
Certain lines, like you almost can feel like they make some sense in English,
Yeah.
Like, hey, Han my boogie.
Han me boogie.
Han me boogie.
I wish about I did do a chicken, because there was a donation from somebody by the name of like chicken and fish or something like that. Find it though on the list here. It's not showing up on the list. There's a super chat from
chicken
and fish. Chicken. But yeah. The like more conventions. Like we were unsure, like if we were feeling like the inspiration to go to conventions, but it seems like even recently, like we always have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, like we're always like, the timing's tough.
Like
but then once we go, we're like, oh, we're glad we went.
Yeah, and like I'm definitely starting to feel like there is definitely a time like when in the last couple of years, I mean, like in the last year, where I'm like, oh, I don't really feel like going anywhere. But now that I've been traveling a teeny little bit, I'm kind of getting back into it a little bit more. It's like, oh, it's kind of nice to go. Even though like my trip to Florida was like really stressful, because I had no idea if I was going to end up getting stranded there for whoever knows how long.
Mega X6. I mean, Bayonetta is directed by Hideki Kamiya, who directed Devil May Cry and Resident Evil 2. So there you go.
Yeah.
Even though he had left Capcom.
Aruminato is saying, I would like to see you guys play Nier on the Switch before I buy. I mean, the chances of us actually probably buying it, like, I would get it if, I found it at like a thrift shop or something like that. But I can't see myself like going out and buying it for like full price.
Yeah, I've got on PS4, and I still haven't played it. I feel like that's a game that would be bad for me to experience for the first time streaming it.
I've been thinking about, like, since I finished Yakuza today, I was thinking about going back to Nier Replicant.
Oh yeah.
I only played like the first like couple hours of it just to kind of see what it was like.
And you've played on PS3.
Yeah.
But this is different because it's the brother-sister version.
Right. But I mean, it just seems like a fun game to play. Like I was really, really tempted to start Yakuza 3. And I'm like, I just need to like back off. I've spent 200 hours playing these games in the last like 4 months. So I think that I can back off. And, like I'll go back to 3, like maybe I'll play 1, 2, and 3. The most annoying thing is like there's all these other games coming out in the series. It's like, will I ever catch up? I don't know. I finished 3 and there's like 3 more coming out, like announced to come out.
I mean,
but
when it comes
Judgment and all that other stuff.
When it comes to like the when it comes to the like old Japan one, like you could play that one whenever though, because it's not in continuity.
Right, exactly.
Oops.
What I did do though last night is I finally like got my Steam Deck to work with PS5 Remote Play.
Oh really? I didn't know you could do that.
Like you can use this like you can install like a plugin that will allow it to work, and it looks pretty good. Like the lag is if you set the video quality to like H.264, like there's like the lag feels almost non-existent. Yeah, the program's called Chiaki, and I played.
So is it
sub stories and stuff in Yakuza last night, and I woke up this morning. I said like I was at chapter 14. I said I'm gonna beat this game today, and I was just ready to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about those games. You can get into this other side stuff, but you can reach a point where it's like, all right, like I'm just gonna beat it now. It's okay. Like I'm fine with not.
That's how I was with Xenoblade 3.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a lot more stuff I could do, but I did the side stuff I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And
I could see myself using that remote play like in bed, like at night, like like I try to go to bed like occasionally I'll try to go to bed at the same time as my wife goes to bed. And I was like, I can bring the Steam Deck up and play whatever like I want to, like at least on the PS5. So it's like PS4 and 5 games, which is kind of nice.
What are you doing running around Vigrid? You're certainly not.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did. I mean, you're doing it on your local home network, which I mean, you've got fiber, so I mean that definitely helps too.
Well, I mean, it also helps that like it's. My PS5 is wired, but the like the Steam Deck is wireless.
When you start, can you start the remote play on the Steam Deck and wake up the PS5?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you do it even if the PS5 was asleep, or does it have to be in standby?
It has to be asleep in the, it can be in like standby mode. It can't be like completely shut down. At least I don't think it might be. Maybe it can be. I don't know.
I tried.
I turn mine off completely if I if I've like finished the game. If I'm not gonna like see myself like picking up something else.
I normally turn it off completely because it boots up so fast. And I've heard tell that people have had like ran into issues with the sleep mode.
I think that was like maybe a problem like early on with the firmware, but I think it's been fixed since.
Yeah, but I normally just turn it off just to be safe, just because it.
I mean, I turn mine off the majority of the time, but like
I sometimes use sleep mode, but not that often. I've never like, it's so weird how like I have different ways of using each system. Like Switch, I never turn the Switch off. And I use. No, I mean,
they make it a pain in the butt to actually turn it off.
Yeah,
anyway.
they do. Well, but also I also leave games running in sleep mode like all the time on Switch. Where I don't think I've ever done it on PS5 unless it was possibly by accident. Like same with the Xbox. Like I don't know. Like I don't want to use those modes for some reason, even though it's like a big part of like the system design. Like I don't quite trust it, I guess. But with Switch, it's just like I think it's especially because it's a portable system. Even though I'm playing docked, like I know that mode. Like there's never been an issue with that mode. I've never heard of anyone having issues with sleep mode on Switch either. So, although I do think there was at least one time where I like ran into a situation where like maybe I couldn't boot a game or something. I can't remember. I definitely had to reboot my Switch at some point. Uh-oh.
What? You die?
Yeah, I feel like that was the first... I feel like that was the first, like, QTE. That wasn't, like, mashed
the shadow remains cast, so that's okay.
Whoa! That was a lot faster than I was expecting. Oh, is there like a limit to how many times you can revive? Because there's two skulls.
No. That's just showing how many times you died.
Well, that's a pretty tight window.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I turn off my PS5 unless I'm like stopping and then like gonna play something like pretty immediately, like I guess like from the last time I played.
But it boots up, so I mean it's faster to turn it on than the Xbox usually.
Mm-hmm.
So. It's the Stone Award is just what's his face falling over.
But in terms of everything else that's like connected, you know, like it's just like the Xbox, like I have always turned those off. Especially like the Xbox One used to like take so long to start up, but I would still shut that one down all the way. I mean, thankfully it's a lot quicker, but I still feel like it takes a long time. For the Series X.
Yeah, well, you know, they updated the video. It's so silly. Did you hear that they
updated
the video clip is shorter? So that's like, so it was unclear whether the faster boot up was because they shortened the video clip or because they actually sped up something like behind the scenes. Right. Like it's unclear. We're like, were we waiting all this time? Like I don't like the I like the 1X opening video better than the Series X one. Like I don't like this. Like the sound of the Series X one sounds like overdriven or something to me. It like scares Sandy. She doesn't like it.
I mean, I think this One X is just way too long. It's like I don't need to see the inside of the computer.
It is, but I mean, I think it takes a long time to boot it up. I mean, I think.
Oh, it does. I mean, but
it just takes longer to boot it up anyway because.
Are you gonna do Daisy now?
Yeah, we haven't done Daisy yet. I'm just trying to look. See, is there any difference other than the Mario and Luigi and the color? I guess they seem to be exactly the same.
I did see that Steam Deck has the custom boots, but I mean, like there's like 0% chance that I'm going to change that to something else. And the reason I'm talking about the Steam Deck though is because like they finally added the ability to just like have a standard like 1080p 60 output mode. Exactly the problem that I was having with it, like they incorporated it, so it just has like a standardized HDMI output mode now. Of your choosing. But I saw that they're now taking like orders for the official dock, and I just got a different dock, and I'm wondering like, oh, should I get one of the official ones? It looks almost the same as the one that I ended up buying, but.
I mean, how are you feeling about the Steam Deck in general at this point?
I mean, I'm pretty excited I can use it for remote play.
You're going mostly use it to play PS5.
Yeah.
That might be even more hilarious than people just using it to play emulators.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I tried to like screw around with the emulation stuff for like a minute. And I'm like, I don't have any desire to try to get this to work.
Can you do
like,
that?
I thought that the emu deck was supposed to make it real easy, but I couldn't get it to like work as easily as I wanted to. Even just like getting the remote play was not like a trivial experience, especially since you have to get like this online ID, which is not your PSN name. It's like this other like hex code.
Oh.
It took me like an hour and a half to figure out how to like get it correctly, because the old script to be able to do it like no longer works. So I had to find like different ways to make it work. But I have like zero interest in like you know, playing like anything like Switch would be interesting to screw around with, but that's like literally the only thing that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They can be kind of fun.
Can you do? Geez,
I mean, they have like 3DS and stuff like that.
Can you do Xbox Series X remote play?
You know, I don't know. I don't know if that's even like a thing that is even possible.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think so.
Jeez. Why is this fight so hard?
I don't know. Like, I just think, like, I think I've said this before. I don't know if I said this on the stream, but like, I just like so many people, like when they like, you know, like they add like all these emulators on it, they just have this like desire to like make every single machine that they have play everything. Right? I mean, it's just like, okay, so how am I gonna? I'm gonna put like Retro Arch on this or something. You know, it needs to play every single game. Like, and then they put a bunch of time into putting all those games on it, and then like don't like actually even use it. I don't know. It's just it's weird because like I think it's fun to tinker with like console stuff, but I have no interest in doing it with a PC, at least anymore.
No interest in doing what?
Just like tinkering with like to get games to work. Or to enhance them, make them run better.
I mean, you were talking earlier about like the 24-bit color mode on the
Right, which I think is like that's neat.
But that also requires like zero effort on your part. Once you've got now that you got with your Mister set up, like it requires basically no effort.
Yeah. Mr. Dot says the best thing is they put everything on it and then play nothing. Which I think that probably happens pretty often. But I mean, for a lot of people, like that is more fun than playing games. Is like getting it to work. You know, and I understand that too, but it's just I don't have any desire to do that on a.
You know, I just now realized, like I was thinking before, that the hand that comes out of the ground looks like Bowser's hand, and I just realized that's probably because of the costume.
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't I was just like, wow, I don't remember it looking like that. That's kind of silly. But now I'm like, oh wait, it actually is literally supposed to be Bowser. I can't believe I didn't realize that until now. I'm like, oh.
I mean, the Switch emulation stuff is like perhaps the most interesting to me, but the chances of me like really putting a ton of effort into like playing games that way. I mean, one of the big things that makes me not want to do it is because like, what if you like play halfway through a game and then there's like some weirdness about the emulation that like prevents you from being able to like continue.
Exactly. Like the thing is, a lot of people will say like, "Oh, it's perfect," but they say that based on like they tested it like very lightly.
Yeah. But you know, like let's see if things are still working as perfectly. You know, like 70 hours in the Breath of the Wild.
I mean, like, there's like so many weird things. You know, someone was commenting on the memory card video how they moved a save at some point from PS3 to a PS2 memory card because they ran into a glitch partway through playing it on PS3. I did the same thing with Soul Reaver 2. There's this glitch where like a box that's necessary for a puzzle just doesn't spawn. I was like, that sounds because like at the time I was very much into playing on just the most recent system. Like it's not like now where it's like, well, yeah, I really do want to play my PS1 games on PS1 and my PS2 games on PS2. At the time, I was like, well, but I want to play it on my PS3. It's my shiny new thing. And
and at the time, you know, like it's like, oh, I can play this on my HD TV or on my higher resolution.
It was awesome.
And
so I was like, well, that glitch sounds so weird. Maybe it's not even true. It's like, what kind of backwards compatibility glitch would just be like a box doesn't spawn? Well, you know, like I would expect like something, you know, more like, oh, it locks up or there's some sort of graphical glitch. But why would it cause a box to not spawn? Well, I got to that point in the game and sure enough, it's true. So I moved my save to PS2 memory card and it was good. But I mean, you're absolutely right. Like I would be afraid of trusting it. That's not to say that it's not like awesome and probably really, really good, but like that's just me struggling with trusting certain things. Like that's not a knock at it, and that's not saying that other people shouldn't do it. I think it's great if you personally can trust it, but I struggle with that.
Yeah,
and that's why I like the original hardware experience. That's why I like original hardware experience, even if it's even if it's imperfect at times, like, it has slowdown. Oh, the resolution isn't as high, but I know for sure it's behaving as it should. I mean, even if there is a glitch in the game, that glitch that's part of it,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's not like that glitch is going to be fixed in an emulator unless the game is patched. And if that glitch doesn't happen on an emulator, then I'm going to definitely not trust it.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're gonna spend a bunch of time on something, like I don't want to put like 40 hours into a game and then like hit a brick wall. It's like, okay, so I guess I got to go and start it over on the real system.
I think the thing though is a lot of people are having a hard time dealing with Switch games at this point in the generation because they're having a harder and harder time targeting 60 frames per second, and some people just
right.
Some people just are like, oh, I just can't go back to not having that. But you know what I think? I think a lot of people who are really hung up on, and I know a lot of people here in the chat are going to be this way, and that's fine. It's fine. But I think a lot of people who are just like, oh, I can't do under 60 frames per second anymore. I can't do 30 frames per second anymore. I can't do inconsistent frame rates. I can't play that way, and then you just go and you emulate the Switch instead. But the thing is, I wonder sometimes if they are giving it the time that your eyes need to adjust to it. Like I don't find it that difficult. Like after playing a game with an inconsistent frame rate for a while, I get used to it and for the most part stop thinking about it. And maybe some people would be fine with it if they just were willing to spend a little more time, but it's just like, they spend a few minutes and they're like, nope, gotta come up with another way to play it, or I can't play this, I don't know. Like certainly smooth frame rates enhances the game experience. I would always prefer it, but I don't find it hard to get used to a game when it is imperfect.
Right. I mean, Yakuza Kiwami 2 ran at 30 and dips a bit. I mean, maybe it was a lock 30 on the...
it was probably lock 30 on PS5, yeah.
But, I mean, I got pretty used to it pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like that game really requires, like, insane response times. I don't know. Like, I rarely get bothered with things being the way they are, I guess.
Well, and that's why I like the console experience, because I get annoyed at myself when I like spend forever tweaking a PC game, right? I'm just like, man, I wish I would just like sit down and play this game. And it's nice that that current gen consoles do have some options to give you like frame rate, whether to prioritize frame rate or something else. But I'm kind of turned around here. That's nice. I don't mind that, but the huge granularity of PC and like, oh, it might run this way with this GPU, or this this configuration with or this doesn't pair well with this CPU, or and whatever, and like the constant pull to keep that upgraded. Like I just like that. Like for some people that is part of the gaming experience and they enjoy that, and that's great. That's great. But for me, like, it's just like I want to limit my options somewhat, and so that I just kind of get straight to the game and accept it for what it is. It's not hard for me to just accept like this is just the way the game is.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I like making sure that the picture quality is represented as best as it can be. But to me, that's more ensuring that the intent of the source is carried through to what I see. It's not about changing game settings. Like game settings and picture quality are like separate things in my mind. And once I am happy with how a scaling thing is working, like it's not like I'm always like changing it, you know? Like
Yeah.
I like it how I like it, and you know, I might do something a little different now and then, but for the most part, you know, it's not about tweaking the game itself so much. You know, but again, like, you know, hey, just like people who enjoy working on game hardware and developing mods and modding, you know, like that process is part of the gaming experience for them, and I think that's great. Obviously, I love the results of mods, but it's not what I want to work on. I just want to use it. But you know, it's great that people enjoy all sorts of different things in gaming. But you know, just the constant tweakery of PC gaming is not something I especially enjoy.
Yeah. So I want you to tell me if you think this is like this is a funny idea or not. Like I had this idea of like, what if you're playing this game, right? It could be any game. And in the middle of the game, at some point, like some random point, it has like an insta-death QTE single button input. And like, it only happens that one time in the entire game.
That would annoy me so much. I mean,
don't you think it'd be kind of funny though?
I mean,
like literally, it's like does not happen before or after.
I mean,
that one.
I like I have this very firm belief that something cannot be a stylistic choice if it's only done like one time, maybe even two times. Like it feels like a mistake. Like for some reason this makes me think of, you know, at my old job,
like
some
more of a detailed answer than I was expecting.
Yeah, well, I think about this sort of a lot. Because in my
like
old
single
no not that but like it makes me think of like, well, I mean, well, before I tell the other story, like to keep in theme with like the video game thing, like for example, I get annoyed when like the final boss of a game, like sometimes it works, but it usually doesn't. I feel where the final boss of a game like relies on like a mechanic that didn't exist prior to that point. And it's like, it's like annoying because it's like the final boss should be the culmination of everything you've learned up to that point, right? So like they introduce, like, I feel like a lot of the Fire Emblem games are actually kind of bad at this, where the final boss is like this massive, like, dragon or something like that, and like no enemy prior to that point took up more than one tile, and it just, the way that you have to approach that fight is like fundamentally different from fighting other enemies, and that kind of annoys me. But like another thing, and like this is like I feel like it can apply to all sorts of creative things as well. Like there was this video that my old job, you know, they paid some third party to produce this, you know, fancy promotional video, and it had a jump cut in it. One jump cut. Now, I'm willing to concede, I don't like it, but I'm willing to concede that jump cuts can, at times, be a valid creative choice. I mean, I've done it too, like, you know, not for like a talking to the camera kind of jump cut, but I've done it for, you know, some other effect, right? You know, some sort of stylistic effect. You can make a stylistic effect with jump cuts. But this video had one jump cut on an interview. Like, and all they had to do was cover it. And I'm like, I am willing to concede that jump cuts can be a valid creative choice. But if you do one jump cut, it is not a creative choice. It is screwing up. You screwed up.
Yeah.
So
it comes off like an error.
It comes off like an error. And I'm saying the same thing about a game where there is a singular QTE in the entire game, where it's the same thing, where it's like this is completely out of sync with everything else this game is trying to be. Like, I don't know. You know what I did appreciate the heck out of, though? Castlevania Lords of Shadow, which was not an amazing game at all. I played it last year. It actually has a setting to just auto complete the QTEs, which I thought I would normally never go for that, but the QTEs were really obnoxious in it.
Yeah.
So I was okay with it. But anyway, I should stop rambling about this subject and its tangents, because I saw there was a 1999 from Scott Davis.
Yes, there was, but first I missed a donation from Gaming Blows 30 minutes ago. I'm really sorry about that. With $2, saying, "Why am I so bad at Legend of the River King on Game Boy?" And I don't have an answer for you.
That sounds like
I've
a
been
game
thinking about
that
it.
that sounds
Maybe
like a
it's
game
because
that
it has a single QTE.
I mean, it sounds like a game. I mean, I think
game.
it's basically an RPG. I don't know if it has any like timing elements for the fishing. I mean, I've like booted it.
I feel like it looks like it has that guy from One Piece in it. Like it has somebody who has like a is it One Piece? I don't know. The guy that has like the straw hat. I don't know. I don't know anything about One Piece. I just know that like there's a guy who has a straw hat.
Well, I mean, Legend of the River King though. Like, I mean, I think it's an RPG, so I don't know if there is much being bad at it, or not. But I don't know. I wish I could give you some help.
But there's also 1999 from Scott Davis.
Thank you, as always, Scott.
Saying, "Hey dudes, honorable mention to the Xbox backward compatibility and emulation method. They fixed a known game-breaking error in the game Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, where a door would not open and effectively end the game. So they fixed that."
So, but is that something that like always happened? Like, was the game not completable on original Xbox, or was it just like a if you triggered it type of thing? You know,
I don't know.
All of those like mascot platformers, those like third-party multi-platform mascot platformers that were on PS2 and GameCube and Xbox. Like I've always been like kind of curious about them, but don't really have much to any experience. Some interesting lava.
Hot lava. I had an idea for 2023 that it's going to be impossible to do, but I was like,
put one QTE in every video.
What?
Put one QTE in every video.
Yeah, where it requires you to like hit a button to like watch the next part of the video. Yeah, I was thinking. I was just popped in my head when I was driving one day. I was like, next year I should like say make a resolution to not play a single game that has any kind of like character enhancing RPG elements
for a whole year.
For a whole year.
I mean,
it sounds like its own challenge in a way, doesn't it?
I mean, yes. I mean, you might be limiting yourself to like PS2 and earlier.
Yeah.
But then could you not play actual RPGs? Or are you just talking about action games with
like, I don't know, like anything where you can like enhance your like RPG elements.
Yeah, like every, or maybe you could
I'm only playing games without any RPG elements.
Oh, without any.
It's impossible. I thought about like, I wonder if I could do it.
I mean, you could. You could maybe just say like, I'm not going to play any games with skill trees this year.
Yeah. Skill trees, like, you know, are forbidden in 2023 in my life. I don't know. It might be fun to see if that's something I could do, but I can't, considering that I'm going to be. I want to play Yakuza 3.
Did those games? I don't remember those games. Do they have
skill
trees?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they had. Yes.
I've only played 0. I don't remember if it had. Well, I guess the different stances are kind of skill trees.
I don't know, but it's heavy on that stuff. Yeah, what are we considering RPG elements? Anything you can, if you gain experience in a game, any kind of, it doesn't have to be called experience. It can be called like, I don't know, like anything that you use and you
souls.
Spend it on, like, yeah, souls, like enhancing your abilities, building your character. Is this an Alfheim or no?
Huh?
Yeah, you in an Alfheim right now?
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. It's just like a challenge room type thing. Maybe not. Maybe that's not what this is.
I think this is. I think this is a required thing.
Thrown around these. It is, but I'm just thinking about like how every game has like RPG elements.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be impossible.
RPGs used to be this like special and uncommon thing, you know?
Yeah.
And now like everything, you gotta have experience.
You gotta build your character. Right?
Yeah, it's not, you know, you can't just get better at the game.
Yeah.
You can't progress by improving your own skills at the game. You have to progress by leveling up your character. That's how it's become.
Did I talk about? I guess I probably didn't talk about it when I was like when I was in Florida, like before like everything happened with the hurricane and stuff. I had to come home. So I said before many times that, you know, my mom watches like 3 channels or 4 channels. She watches like CNN, she watches the Weather Channel, she watches the Lifetime Movie Network, and watches the Travel Channel. And the Travel Channel is like basically it's like all like ghost shows.
Uh-huh.
Right? It's just like ghost shows. Like really ghost hunters and stuff like that, right? And I was like falling asleep, and she was like watches she like leaves the TV on like all night, right? So I was like falling asleep, and she was watching something. She's watching something on the Travel Channel, and it's like totally straight faced. It says, "Coming up next, is this dog stuck in another dimension?" Which just makes no sense. I didn't even watch it.
I mean, I wish you did. I wish you could tell me if the dog was stuck in another dimension.
But like that's like the entertainment. Like that is what the Travel Channel is now. Is like, is this dog stuck in another dimension? I mean, it made me laugh so hard because it was like I had no context.
Has anyone in the chat watched this? Can you tell us if the dog is stuck in another dimension? I really want to know. Oh.
They're out of ideas. Is this dog stuck in another dimension? It's like, maybe. Are you gonna? If it is, and you've just like proved it on this show, you've basically like
Changed humanity forever.
changed humanity as we know it. This dog is the first thing to ever be stuck in.
If this dog was stuck in another dimension, I feel like you would have heard about it before some rerun on the Travel Channel.
Yeah. And that is a world-altering discovery. And they're gonna wait until after the commercial break to let you know. But imagine being that person who has to like record that voiceover. It would be so fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope he gets paid well.
In another dimension. I have this like document on my phone that I like write down like random shit that I hear or think about or whatever. And that's where I laugh so much at the dimension thing. I had to write that down. Like, yeah, it's the final dimension. Has this dog entered the final dimension? Is this dog immortal? But actually from another planet?
Is the lava rising? I can't tell.
What was the name of the planet in Highlander 2? It's like a really dumb name. I would look it up, but I feel like the chat will tell me what the name of the planet is in Highlander 2. Master Saber saying delicious.
Delicious.
I have a hard time not thinking about that. Like when I think that we were at a thing on Friday where they had all this like food. It was like Fall Fest or something like that, and so someone said, "Oh, this is delicious," and I couldn't help but to think,
Delicious.
like in exactly that voice, delicious. And I could say it out loud, and nobody would know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Was it Planet Zeist? Maybe. Man. Highlander 2. I still think that this might be the best that I have though now. I mean, That's Good is good, but
Cool decision.
it's like it doesn't get better than that. Tony Galva says, when I go golfing with my coworkers, I always think of on the green. Now, you don't think nice on. Isn't that what it says in Hot Shots Golf? Nice on.
Yeah, I think so. You got an on.
Nice on. Yeah, so Mr. Dots knows what I'm talking about. More dots. More dots. You should play all the way through this just so you can record a clip, then we have it on file of like the ending sequence. I feel like that, like the ending, like defeating the final boss is like something that could come in handy.
I mean, it is. I I always tell people, especially people who have never played this, that defeating the final boss in this game is literally the most over-the-top thing that's ever happened in a video game ever.
Yeah.
Like, if you...
I don't use the word epic, like, at all.
Mhm.
But the defeating the final boss in this it's a pretty epic moment.
And, like, basically all I'll say is, if you thought Sephiroth destroying half the solar system and one of his random attacks that he does in his final form, like, this is more insane than destroying half the solar system. Basically.
I mean, it's so dumb.
How far in am I anyway?
I think there's 20 chapters.
Really?
Like almost 20.
Really?
Yeah, and it falls into that situation where I think some of the
Later
levels
ones are-
kind of repeat.
Like, are some of the later chapters maybe
Like
a little
previous
shorter?
chapters again. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I need to, like, it's been a long time since I've played all the way through. Like, this is the furthest I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I see Kaylee Gamer is saying, like, continue next stream. I was thinking about doing like a playthrough of a game, like in our Discord, like in the the supporter channel, and like say, hey, we can play through this like long game, and I'll play it like whenever I get a chance to play it, like I'll stream it right here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that, like I feel like that might be fun. I got
Yeah.
Discard is in the chat.
Yeah, we tend
Discard
to
remains patiently waiting for my setup tour. Thought I was going to be doing it like months ago, and then I gave him all this like pre material, like of like the setting up aspect of it, and it's like, all right, well, I just haven't done it yet. So I'm really sorry about that.
I'm shocked how many save files this has. This has
I mean,
30. It has
if you go all the
30
way
save
down-
files.
Oh, that's pretty good.
How far have you played into this version? Because weren't you playing this on the plane to Japan?
This?
Yeah. Or I feel like you played on the plane to somewhere that we went. Or maybe it was
No,
Bayonetta
I mean, I don't think
2.
I don't think I've played past like chapter 2 in this version.
Should I do another chapter, or should we stop there, or what do you think?
Why don't you play something else on your Switch? Do you have anything that's like downloaded on your Switch that you can play for a minute? Anything digital that you could play for 10 minutes?
I am unsure. Did I
can't play anything
I
involving
did make a
Dot.
digital group. Some of these might be demos though. I saw that some new Ciactro games are coming soon, like from the McBat 64.
Oh, will you like show me Arietta of Spirits, or is that a demo?
That's the demo.
I mean, pop it in for a second. Just pop it in there.
Sure.
I mean, I ordered that. I have that from was it Red Art Games, but I haven't played it.
I mean, the demo is pretty short. It's a nice looking little game. I've not played through it.
Does she have a whip and a sword?
She has a stick.
Oh, looks
Or
like
maybe
she
it might be a wood sword. I forget.
Hey, what was that game that you got that had like the weird number string? That's like
Oh
in the
yeah. Oh, what's it called? It's that the with the owl black mage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's oh, what's that game called? It's got a very forgettable name. Rava? I think it's Rava, like RAVVA or something like that.
Is it on the Switch?
I have the PS. I don't know if it's on Switch, but
Oh, okay.
the physical was for PS4.
But it has like this string of numbers that's just like kind of faded in the middle of the screen all the time, and it like means nothing. It's like a weird kind of glitch that they never fixed.
Did you get it?
I haven't received it yet. I probably ordered it with other things.
Yeah, like that.
Same way, like I've not received my Demon's Throttle. Demon Throttle.
Oh,
Did you play that?
I haven't, but I got it.
I mean, I'm waiting on that, but I ordered it with Bro Force, I think. Over a year ago.
I'll just
I mean, the dad kind of looks like like he could be in Kingdom Hanks.
Kingdom Hanks.
Doesn't he?
He definitely does.
Listen. Feels weird for me too. Right? You know.
Yep. I'm sure the cab needs fixing up a bit. Wouldn't want Grandma's place to deteriorate. Kingdom Hanks.
Got that mustache. Clean my mustache. Look who's talking. I just trim my mustache. You know what? I'm sure everything would be just like it was before. It's gonna be the title drop. There it is.
Kingdom Hanks.
Can you skip the entire story sequence?
Can I? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's considered a cutscene anymore. I'm not seeing an option.
Oh, so is this kind of like a Zelda?
Yeah. It's very Zelda.
Pixel grid tile map is RPG element. I'm more talking about like character leveling, or like leveling attributes. Oh, Alex, you haven't started Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom.
Ooh, have a good time with that.
Finding it super absorbing.
That it is. Hang on, Cindy wants to pee. Go pee.
Yeah, I ordered the Osmond physical. Although it's going to take a long time to get it, I'm sure. I mean, I'm just like at the point now where I have like so many things that like ordered from different places, and I just like, who knows when I'll get like any of this stuff. I don't even think about it anymore. Like I saw that today, like the Indiegogo for the like the VM2 memory card, you know, the one I talked about in the most recent video, and like who knows when I'll get that. 2 years, 3 years, who knows? Wonder Boy and the Dragon Search just came out with a PS5 version. I was very surprised it was not an upgrade, though. You cannot do a free upgrade for it. I guess I'll drop this in here again because since we're winding down, like I mentioned earlier, or you know, if you've heard us talking about it, Chris from Classic Gaming Quarterly and myself are like launching a podcast where we just like BS for a while, and then talk about other stuff. Like we have a question for each each episode, and like that's basically just like another conversation starter. We are like launching it tomorrow, but if anyone would like to subscribe to it, here's like the information here. Just the show is called Here's My Question for You. If you don't want to subscribe, that's okay too. And there's like video versions that you can check out of like there's an episode 0 that you can check out, which is right here. So watch this like after the stream, I guess. So you can watch that too. But that's all, like, if you subscribe to the podcast, like, you'll get that first episode anyways, and look for them, like, every Monday going forward.
Sadie likes how the character portraits, like, go up and down.
Dancing.
I can't stop thinking
Do
about
I talk about Nelly? Maybe a little bit here and there. She doesn't make an appearance, though.
Sandy's really barking at Kingdom Hanks here. So Dad gave me a wooden sword to fight off any bees on my way to pick apples.
Bees.
Well, like, this is like just so extremely Zelda. Like
That's okay though. I think it looks like a nice.
Yeah, like I
game.
have a big soft spot for just unabashed Zelda clones for some reason. Just like the audacity of just like how little they care about if you can tell where the inspiration came from. You know what I mean? Like something about that is kind of charming to me. You know what? I haven't ordered on Limited Run because supposedly a PS4, like I don't think the game is on PS4 digitally yet, but supposedly it's coming. Is Oceanhorn 2?
Right.
I have the Vita and Switch versions of Oceanhorn 1, which I liked. I liked that game. I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah.
But the second game is like much more of like a behind.
Oh yeah, it's
the
like a Breath of the Wild.
Zelda game. Yeah, well, I mean, it looks more. I don't know. It looks more like Wind Waker or something to me. But like that just looks like a game that like would almost definitely be like way better on PS4. So like I can't decide whether I want to order the Switch version or not.
I mean, I did.
Yeah.
But, you know, like just I'm sure that the other version will show up eventually, and then I'll be like, well, it's going to be a lot better.
You'll get it anyway.
Yeah. Like I was saying when you were gone, like I feel like I have so much stuff like ordered. And there's been like some talk like lately, you know, people like at our Discord are saying like, hey, you know, like I'm really, really sick of like ordering stuff and like knowing I'm not going to get it for at least a year. And
yeah,
I totally understand that.
Part of it though,
I feel like I as soon as I order something, like I immediately forget about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like how like everything is these days.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, if you order more than one thing at a time, then it, you know, that's, you know, that part of that is your own fault. But yeah, it takes a long time for those games to be ready sometimes, for sure. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, it'd be great if that gets sped up, if that process gets sped up over time.
Right. I mean, I just stopped thinking about it. Like today, the Indiegogo for that Dreamcast memory card that I mentioned in the most recent video ended, and who knows what I'll get that. Like I backed it, but I probably won't get it for at least a year. You know, maybe 2. I'm just gonna forget about it.
I don't think there's actually anything in the bushes, but I keep breaking them.
It's not too late to. I mean, I don't know if it's too late to order it or not, but I know that the Indiegogo ended today, and I know that they're shipping out the orders and in the order that of people backing it.
I mean, I assume they're probably gonna. They're probably gonna make more, but you'll likely have to wait. But
right. Yeah, Mr. Dow says I forget about stuff I order all the time. That's like a nice surprise when it shows up, and that's exactly it. Like I forget about it, and then it's like, oh well, what could this possibly be?
I mean, I ordered Doom Eternal like a week or so ago because you told me it was $15 the Best Buy.
$15, yeah.
And I set it for store pickup because I didn't want to pay shipping, but it wasn't going to be available at my store for several days. And when I got a notification for picking up something at Best Buy, I'm like, I have no idea what this is. And my Best Buy has like a locker setup now where you can just like, you literally just put a QR code on your phone and hold it up to the camera, and then a locker opens and you take it. You only have to go inside the store. It's amazing. Like I didn't even like, I could have like looked up in my email or whatever, like what game is this? Or what, it might not be a game. What is this? Like I could not remember what I had ordered that it could be. And I'm like, I'm just not even going to look. So it's a surprise. I'm like, well, it's probably a Switch or a PS5 game. The thing opened up and I could see the edge of a green case. And I'm like, an Xbox game? What is this? And it's, like I already forgot. I already forgot it about Doom Eternal. Which, speaking of which, I was telling you that I actually tried installing it disconnected from the internet, and it actually, like, you know, this was brought up on DF Direct not long ago, how apparently some of it, yeah. I don't know all the details, but apparently some issues with Xbox, you know, preservation and DRM and stuff have been somewhat remedied, but maybe not completely.
Right.
But I was I was surprised that when I put this in, I don't know if it specifically has to do with those fixes or if this particular game will have always worked that way. But I had it offline, I installed it off the disc, and it let me play the Xbox One version, which I've never seen that. I mean, I haven't tested super extensively, but I've not yet until now run into a situation where the Xbox One version is on the disc, but a Series X version exists. And it let you play the Xbox One version on Series X. And it let me do that. I thought actually the game had some sort of like Bethesda login requirement. And it does want you to, but you can play the single player in Doom Eternal, the Xbox One version on Series X. But then I connected online and it did the upgrade, the smart delivery, and then I booted up and I had like the ray tracing options and stuff. So, but that's good. At least it let you play a version of the game. And it's not like the Xbox One version is a bad version, because I mean, it's still 60 frames per second and, you know, looks amazing. So.
There's $5 from Gaming Blows. Thank you. Saying, I tried Octopath last month. Eventually, I couldn't take the horrendous writing anymore. I was shocked I had to drop it. Did you guys feel that way? That'd be a question for you because I haven't played it.
Did you try turning off the voices? I had like I had a similar feeling. I didn't necessarily think of the writing as bad, but the very sort of serious tone of it felt, I don't know, like, you know, listening to the characters like talking about, you know, sometimes some pretty dark and, you know, sad stuff. Like sometimes it's just like, man, like this is heavier than I want to listen to in my pixel art RPG, you know?
Yeah.
And the acting is good, but it just feels out of place for the game. And I initially tried switching to Japanese and then just turned the voices off altogether. And I liked it a lot more. But I like the game a lot. Like, it's definitely got its flaws. I think one of the things that really bugs people is that the characters don't really talk to each other as if they are present together. And I understand why, because of how non-linear.
Live had that same problem.
Huh?
Did you listen to did you use the voices for Live Alive?
I did, but it is a similar thing though. I did leave the voices on, but it does have a similar feel where it's just like this, it's a weird vibe hearing voices in that kind of game that I think most people would be like, oh, I wish these characters were voiced. And I'm like, reading's good.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. But yeah, I have mixed feelings about voice acting in some of those games. Like, it's not that it's bad, but it's just like it's just not like there ain't nothing wrong with reading this game right here. These characters don't need voices. I can read what they say faster than they can get it out of their mouths. You know?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Not every. There's a lot of people have this attitude that every game should have voice acting, or that if every game was voice acted, it would be better. You know.
Yeah.
And I don't agree at all. Like, you know, like people were so mad that it took Zelda so long to get voice acting, and I feel so thoroughly indifferent to there being voices in Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's not even all that many scenes, and they're all flashback. Most of them are flashbacks anyway. I feel so indifferent to the voices in Breath of the Wild. I think most people are like, yes, finally. And I'm just like, it changes like nothing to how I feel about the game.
Matt Smith, I like read your what you just said there, saying anyone else seeing someone with white hair sitting
Oh
behind
my gosh,
Coury?
I see it too. It's like creepy.
It made my heart like jump for a second. Like, how horrifying would it be that what if like
I see it. What
if like the camera was like picking up a ghost that I couldn't, like, I just saw like via the stream? That's like horror movie stuff right there. Like, where you see like I'm watching the stream and we're just like talking and I see like somebody, like a ghost or demon or something like that behind me. Wouldn't that would be like kind of freaky, right?
Of course it would.
And
be
I'm only
freaky.
seeing it.
It would be more
like,
than
and it's like delayed, but it's like got like a little bit of a delay on it, right?
Yeah, like
and like it slowly creeps up behind me, but I'm watching it and it's already like way closer than it is than what I'm seeing on the stream. You know what I mean? That's
I like
that would be
like
creepy.
I'm really far away from it, but from here it looks like the back of Charles Martinet's head. I don't know why that's the first thing that comes to
Said about
mind.
his Mario voice. He knows. But I read that message. I was like, "Whew, man, that like scared me for a second there."
So what? So what is it?
It's my recliner.
Huh?
It's a recliner.
But it does look like someone with like white hair sitting and like looking at like a TV on the wall over there. Oh, there you go. There you go.
What if I turn it and there was like somebody, a ghost sitting in it? That it can only be seen by the webcam. Like that's like the like that's like what the spiritual successor to a Fatal Frame would be, but it's only webcams can pick up the ghosts.
You know, you should see if you're, you know, it might be a good patience exercise to see if, you know, your kids have the wherewithal to like pull off a like sort of what's the word I'm looking for? You know, sort of a slow build up sort of prank, and that like actually like pull it off, like have them dress up in like a creepy costume, like a ghost or a demon or something,
like during the
stream, and have them like at first like all the way over at your shooting table, but then they just like take like half an inch step and like to where it takes like an hour or two to like actually get up to you.
There's like zero chance they'd be able to like control themselves for that long. Like zero chance. I could pay them hundreds of dollars and they wouldn't be able to do it. I say, if you guys can do this, I will give you $100. And they would not be able to do it. Never be able to handle it.
Should we see?
But I think that might do it.
Yeah.
Is that going to do it?
Yeah, I guess that should probably do it.
Well, thanks to everybody who donated tonight and everybody who hung out for the long haul. Is great. You know, it's been a little while since I was like, I guess, just like watching the chat.
Yeah, it's
about it.
It's been a couple of weeks since we just had a good old fashioned regular stream.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I hope everyone has a great week. All you Canadians have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow.
That's right.
Remember that. And take care.
Eat that delicious chicken.
All that like that.
Delicious.
Chicken.
And then afterwards, you'll be sitting in your recliner, and you'll be thinking,
Cool decision.
and it's like,
I just can't believe it. You're amazing.
that's what you say to the chicken.
I just can't believe it. You're amazing.
Delicious.
Chicken.
That's what I say to my chicken every time.
Yep.
I said, I just can't believe it. You're amazing.
Now you're making me want to get some amazing chicken tomorrow. All right.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. Take care.
Good night.